Testing, testing. Okay, hello, Earn Full of Popcorn listeners. Timmy Williams here with a little side note at the front, the side of the front note before we get into the episode. I don't know what happened, but something with Shandy's audio went crazy for this episode. Maybe it was due to the heat over there where she is in New York, and I don't know. But so her audio kind of goes in and out and is weird. So please bear with us there because neither one of us know how to do this. So whatever. But anyways, we're talking about Jordan Peele's Get Out, and you've probably noticed that episodes have kind of slowed down this summer. Yeah, we're only doing this one for July, and then another one in August. Then we'll get back on it. So, anyways. That said, please enjoy Earn Full of Popcorn right now. The deer are like, when you live in New York, the deer are like rats or pigeons. You know what I mean? They're everywhere, and they're like, get the fuck away from me. So, you know, I understand the sentiment of like, fuck you guys. But one of the funniest things is that PETA, and I could go off on PETA because I think they maybe have some, I don't know, respectable intents, but they just don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they, you know, it's like, I think PETA's just scare tactics, and I don't know. I don't like them. But anyway, so they came to Watertown once and went to the zoo and freed the deer from the zoo. And to me, it's like going to New York and being like freeing the pigeons, you know? Or like freeing a rat. Because like they're like fine.
Letting the bodega cats out of every bodega.
Like these bodega cats,
they'll be back.
Like, yeah, they want to be there. B, also, they're not like endangered or anything. You know? Like if you're a cat, you don't want to hang out in a grocery store where there's shit on the floor to eat and mice everywhere. Come on, you know? It's warm. There's good music normally. Do 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 do.
Patrons want to pet you.
Yeah, totally. I'll never understand, even though I know it's happened to you and happened to everybody. I'll just never understand being mean to kids or even just being mean around kids, you know? So, whatever.
I know, especially if you were treated that way as a kid and now you're an adult and you're just, you don't think about how that made you feel when it happened to you. Why are you doing it to, I don't get that.
Yeah, come on.
Break the fucking cycle, bro.
Yeah, that's hard to do. You know what?
I know.
We did it again. That's not a good segue into today's movie. You know what I mean?
Break the cycle, yo.
Break the cycle of racism. Because today, in the month of June, God, I cannot fucking, who let me do this? Anyways, so for the month of June, we have been discussing, we only do 2 movies a month. But this month, we wanted to do movies that one of us liked and the other one didn't, and we wanted them to be more recent movies. So last time we did The Black Phone, which I didn't like that much. Shandy liked it a lot, and then we watched it again, and now we both like it the same amount. Right? Is that what happened?
You've come up on the scale of ratings. On the rating scale. Yeah. Yeah, and then this time I had mentioned I wasn't a big fan of Jordan Peele's movies. And I didn't particularly like Get Out when it came out, but that was 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to figure out why I thought that, and came to the conclusion that it was most likely because I was drunk when I watched it and wasn't paying attention to it like an asshole. But I watched it again last night and paid attention to it and find it fucking amazing. And I'm kicking myself in the butt for saying that ever.
Well, yeah, don't beat yourself up, especially because until like a week before this, we thought it was the movie Us. And you haven't even, have you seen his other movies then?
I have seen the other ones.
Okay.
Only once.
Okay.
And that was something I want to talk about too, is that if I've said I don't like a movie and I can't say why, I need to watch it again.
It's a good call. It's a good idea.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. If you can't put your finger on it, try it again.
Mm-hmm.
I find it very easy to forgive faults in movies. And so
I don't often come away from a movie being like, that sucked. There's movies where I'm like, well, that was boring, or I wasn't excited about that. You know, like there's stuff from my collection that I finally get to watching. I'm like, well, that was dumb. I'll probably sell that. But I don't hate anything,
No.
really. And well, we've talked about my whole bad movie theory that I don't think those exist. But I think the only bad movies that would exist is like what we said last episode, and you'll hear us talk about it with Zach a couple months. Is that movies that are right down the middle are the only movies that's like, ugh,
Yeah, if I watch a movie and I go, yeah, it was okay, I'll probably don't have any desire to watch it again. Doesn't happen that often now because now I'm more into paying attention to what's going on instead of just enjoying what I'm watching. I wrote down notes. I didn't write down a ton. I was just more into there were things that came full circle in the movie that made me really
yeah.
excited. The stuff with the deer was really fucking cool.
I didn't write as many notes either, but part of it I watched it with my daughter, and I've seen this a number of times, and it was her first time seeing it, so I was just waiting to see her reaction. And also, we'll talk sometimes during a movie a little bit, but when we watch a movie. But, we'll say things here and there. I was trying very hard not to say anything.
Oh, I bet.
Because here's the thing is like, if you watch a movie with someone that has like a big twist like Fight Club, for just off the top of my head, right? And if you're going to like, oh, you've never seen Fight Club? Cool. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Well, even saying that
is a spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. Even saying I could spoil it for you is a spoiler because, like, now there's something crazy enough or a big enough of a left turn or a twist or whatever that you could be spoiled on, So, but the flip side of that is these days people call everything a spoiler too. Where if I was like, yeah, Get Out is about a black man meeting his white girlfriend's parents. Whoa, spoiler! It's like, okay, well, did you not know he was black? Like, what's the problem with that sentence? You know what I mean? But anyways, I didn't want to say anything about it. I just showed her Do the Right Thing for the first time a couple days before that. And it was Juneteenth this past week. So, I was like, it's a good time for white people to kind of like listen to black people, or in this case, experience their point of view, which is a great way to do that is to watch movies, especially in both the case of Do the Right Thing and Get Out, where they really got to get their vision out there. And in both cases are about race, So, but anyways, so it was more about just kind of, I was just trying to shut my yap and just let it happen to her. And so by shutting my yap, I probably didn't take as many notes. And I love Get Out. I always have. I saw it when it came out in the theater, and I've always liked it since then. And obviously, it's very cool what Jordan Peele was able to do, and go from sketch comedy to becoming a horror icon and like a huge producer and all that stuff.
I feel like if you have a background in comedy, I felt this way about Jim Carrey when he was in Eternal Sunshine. So I remember hearing that he was going to be in that movie, and I went, is he going to be good at that kind of drama? Comedy guys are good at pretty much everything, I think, because just because you have the humility, which comes with comedy, you say things that can be deemed as horrific and make people go. Sometimes with horror stuff, you do have stuff that's funny, but at the same time, a lot of the horror stuff is just like so over the top and ridiculous that I feel like only comedy people can think of stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think there's good examples in Jordan Peele's movies and in Zach's movie, But, it's also, I agree with everything you said. I also think a very simple way to say it is comedy and horror both depend on the element of surprise.
Yep.
And I think that's why, because if you have done comedy for a while, you understand how to, surprise people and have that left turn. But instead of making it a punchline, you make it a jump scare. You make it a gross old woman's titties or, whatever else. So,
I was going to say at the beginning when they're driving to her parents' house, have you ever been in the car when it got hit by a deer?
Oh, that's in my notes. I've been driving.
You've been driving. It's scary.
Yeah, have you been in a car that hit a deer?
A few times as a passenger as a kid, because where we lived, we had the deer crossing signs on the highway. Super fucking scary to be a kid asleep and then
Ooh.
hear the whack, and then the fucking brakes, and your mom go,
Right.
but you're like a kid, like in the back, like it's fucking terrifying. I mean, I was asleep one time when it happened, and I think there was like 2-3 other times where I was awake, and it's scary because it's just like it's pitch fucking black except for the lights right in front, and they just there they are, and you're like, what the fuck? Thankfully, no one ever got hurt. Windshields got fucked up.
The cars get totaled. Did I ever really wreck a car?
None of the cars ever got wrecked, and none of the times we saw the deer dead or on the side, it had just kept going.
Yeah, probably died in the woods.
Yeah.
How many times did this happen?
At 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I was driving once. I'd taken my daughter and her half sister to Peele, South Dakota, to visit somebody. It's winter and it's nighttime, and we're going. And I was actually on the phone with the girl's grandpa, not my dad, but the other grandpa, and then this deer comes out and just hits the car, boom, and I pull over like, oh my God, we just hit a deer, bye, and I hung up on him. So obviously he was in Florida, wherever he was, like losing his mind now because he knows both his grandkids are in their car. There was something just happened. Oh my God. But so a doe, the lady deer, hit the side of my car, my minivan, and took off. And I assume she went into the woods and died, but you couldn't see any trace of her. And it just left a mark on my car about 7-8 inches long. That's it, on my driver's side door. And she basically like ran up and bounced off the door and like ran away.
Whoa.
And it was terrifying. And but that's, I think that's it. I know my brother one time when he was a teenager, my brother Joe hit a deer delivering pizza. That has to suck. Because not only does you hit a deer, but now your delivery's all fucked up.
Where's my pizza?
He might have been coming back though. What'd you say?
Where's my pizza?
I know, right? Oh shit, now it's free pizza. Yeah, but he might have been on his way back from a delivery. I can't remember, but yeah. But the weird thing about Get Out starts in Chris's apartment, and then his girlfriend Rose picks him up, and they're driving out to meet her parents, and they hit a deer. But to me, the weird thing is it happens during the daytime, and so many deer hits are at night. But I mean, you can hit a deer during the day, and it's funny, they hit the deer, and then they get to her parents' house, and the dad is like kind of happy that the deer got hit, and he's like, good, that's a start, because he's like, there's too many fucking deer, I hate them, right?
Can we call them vermin or something like that?
Yeah. And here's the deal. 100% agree, and I totally get it, because here where I live in Watertown, South Dakota, the deer are everywhere. One time I was stoned with some friends, and we drove out in the country. I was like 19 or 20. We drive up a hill of the country, drive down in this little valley, and it's like 200 deer on either side of the road.
Whoa.
And we're like, whoa. But that's the thing is they're everywhere. And they do come into town and eat garbage and stuff sometime. And it's weird that we're talking about this right now because for the first time in many, many years, there's been black bears sighted in my area. And one out at the lake, like a woman's dog, like got up in the bear's face, and the bear started getting on its hind legs, which means like fuck you. And nothing happened to the lady or the dog, but that's gotta be terrifying. And then it was just sighted again out in a field by the interstate yesterday, I think. But fucking deer. But yeah, so they hit a deer. But before all that, Get Out starts. The very first thing you see is a guy wandering through some suburban neighborhood. And he's talking about being confused about the streets. He's like, Edgewood Way? Why would you have Edgewood Way half a mile from Edgewood Street? Right?
I agree.
Now, but if I remember right, Queens has a lot of that going on. And maybe Brooklyn too, but in Queens, like in Astoria, there's like 21st Street, 24th Place, 21st Avenue, 24th Avenue. You know what I mean? It's like crazy.
Mm-hmm. It's Avenue, Boulevard, Place.
Yeah. But it was the same names. Yeah.
But
why did that happen?
Somebody's dumb.
Well, okay, yeah.
Don't know what they're
Somebody
doing.
Is dumb. Yeah, you can say that anytime, anywhere, and it's going to be true. Exactly. Somebody's dumb.
Someone somewhere doesn't want to do their job, so they just go, it's Wayward Place. Oh, it's Wayward Street. Oh, it's Wayward Road. It's Wayward.
Crazy.
Or where it's so the building is 50, but then there's 50A.
But even in like, around here, we have numbered streets and numbered avenues, and so you can still be like, where are you at? Oh, I'm at the corner of 7th and 7th. It's still like, okay, but where is it? You know what I mean? Like, because you also have northeast, southeast, and whatever. So it's like, There was four different. That's four different places. You know, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest. So, it's funny, but I just thought about that. Like, oh, that does happen in Queens, which this dude is obviously from New York, but he's walking around. He's like, I never really got what that first guy Andre is out there for. He got invited to a party or something, right?
I like that.
I can't quite remember, but anyways. It's a trick, and somebody pulls up in a sports car and gets out. Well, they're playing some weird old 30s song, which is weird. Then they get out in a knight helmet, like a medieval knight helmet, and fucking tase him and throw him in the trunk.
Which made me think about all the ICE agent bullshit that's going on right now of just random white people just putting on masks. They may or may not be working for the government and just stealing people off the street.
Good call. I didn't even think about that connection.
Well, actually, when he turned around to walk the other way and he went, not today, I say that probably once or twice a day walking around New York.
In the same situation?
Well, just, if I see some crazy man standing on the sidewalk and he's staring at me, I'll just turn around. Not today.
Yeah.
Not dealing with that today. No.
Yeah. No. I've definitely done that too when I lived in New York,
Or you get on the subway train and you're like, and somebody's fucking screaming or whatever. Yeah. I'm like, I'm getting off at this next stop and going to the next train because I'm not dealing with that shit today.
Right. You know what? So that even happens in right over here in Watertown, South Dakota, town of 24,000 people or something, right? I still have that happen all the time, but the difference is the person.
No.
And I'll be walking down the street and be like, oh, that guy, fuck.
Fucking Larry.
There's that crazy lady, I'll be at work and I'll be back in one of the rooms working and like I hear somebody I know, one of the kind of loons in the front desk, and I'll be like, oh God, she's here. I've got to just, shut the door and pretend I'm working.
No.
Yeah, man. So it is, that is, I think everybody gets that. But yeah, I was just realizing it's funny because in New York, it's because you don't know the person, but in a small town, it's because you do. It's like, I don't want to fucking deal with that lady
I'm
today.
not dealing with that today.
Oh God, it's Marge. I don't know, but yeah, that's how the movie starts, and then it jumps to Chris in his apartment. Good-looking young black man getting ready to go on a trip, and I want to ask you this because I haven't been I used to live in New York, obviously, but it's been a long time. Is his apartment realistic?
If he's a successful photographer, yeah.
Sure, okay.
But for the most part, like for work, I go to a lot of people's homes.
Oh, right, and you go to nice places a lot.
Generally places like that, there's, two people living there. Is his girlfriend living with him in that apartment?
They didn't really establish that.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because I think later on it's kind of established that she does still live at her parents, sort of, but.
Yeah. But damn, nice apartment.
So how much would that cost? $6,000?
Probably, yeah. $5,000-6,000 a month.
I think they said they were in Brooklyn, right? I think he mentions that.
I think so.
It seemed like they were in Brooklyn just from the vibe of like the area, but yeah, and but the whole thing is that he's going with this girl Rose, who's white, to go meet her parents for the first time, and he's nervous about it. And I think we're gonna have to say this a lot during this conversation, Shandy. So I'll just say it right now. Shandy and I are both very white, but we're both like we get it, right? But there's also, I think we both understand that there's a point at which our understanding of this movie will meet a roadblock because we're white. We've never experienced this true systemic racism, right? We've both experienced prejudice probably, but not like racism. You know what I mean? Would you say that's correct?
That's correct. We will never, ever, ever in our lifetime understand what it is to be a black man or woman living in this place.
Yeah, or anywhere.
Or anywhere.
Like I just don't know. But the thing is, to me, the premise of a black guy meeting a white girlfriend's parents for the first time is, to me, a really good hook for a horror movie because I am sure there's tons and tons and tons of black men and women out there who can relate. I'm sure they go through that all the time.
I grew up not being the same as like my father or his father, who are incredibly racist. My mom wasn't. But my dad was, and his dad was as well. And they're from the middle of nowhere in southern Indiana. My grandpa liked He liked black people, but only if they played sports. They're going to have to play sports. And he would make comments like that. I was a cheerleader in the 8th grade, and we only had a basketball team. We didn't have a football team or anything like that. But I dated one of the black guys on our basketball team named Toby. And he would like ride his bike to the house and we'd hang out in the porch. And every time she saw him pull up, my mom would come out there and go, make sure he's not here when your dad gets home, because you know he's going to like freak the fuck out.
Did your dad know you were dating him?
No, he never found out.
Wow.
As a kid, I didn't understand what the fucking problem was. Like, what is the fucking issue?
Yeah.
The color of his skin, that made no fucking sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
I said, you don't even know this person.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want him to get hurt. So I'd be like, it sucks, but like you're gonna have to go for like my dad gets here, you know.
Like physically hurt. You were worried about not his feelings hurt, but you were worried about him literally
getting hurt.
God. Is that the only time you dated a black person or a non-white person?
No.
No?
I've dated every nationality almost, I think.
Every nation, there's 160 countries.
All of them.
You mean like races?
All of them.
Everyone. Okay, so what was your Burundi girlfriend or boyfriend like? Huh? What was your British Virgin Islands boyfriend like?
All right.
Shandy want that Togo dick. Anyway, sorry.
Oh my gosh.
I play Wordle every day, so I'm learning a lot of country names. It's like Wordle, only you're shown a silhouette of a country. You have to figure out what it is.
Oh, nice. I never understood hating somebody.
Yeah.
A different religion or a different color, or just like, I don't like people because they're like mean or they physically hurt other people.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense to me in the world that we live in. You know, or somebody like abuses an animal or a child, like,
sure,
it doesn't fucking matter what they look like, what religion they fucking have. That's a bad person.
Yeah.
But to like wake
100%.
up in the morning and have rage that like your neighbor is fucking black.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking compute at all.
Right.
In my being. I don't understand it.
Two things. First of all, I want to say, and I'm sure you understand this, but for the listener, I want to say, like, despite that fact, and I agree with you. I don't understand bigotry either. I don't understand bigotry because, to me, and I may have said this on here before, and it's kind of a stand-up joke that I've started to do or have been meaning to finish someday, but and get out there. But basically, whenever I hear of any kind of bigotry, racism or sexism or transphobia or homophobia or whatever, ageism, you know, being biased against someone because of their religion, any of that stuff, I always think, like, who the fuck has the time and energy? You know what I mean? Like, even if I wanted to go home and be mad that gay guys are getting married, I don't know when I would do it. It's like, who the fuck? Why are you wasting your energy on that? You know? But the other thing I want to say is, like, despite me and Shandy both being like, well, yeah, what the fuck is wrong with racism? I think we both understand also that if you're a white American, there is a portion of racism in you and you can't get rid of it. We benefited from a racist society. You know, this country's racist and we benefited from that. So we're still part of it. And so I think the best you could do when you're whitey is, you know, well, I think number one is listen.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I think watching movies like this is a way to do that. But you know, but also to help, you know, but listen to them and then help. They need help with, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, not deciding. And I think in this, even when there's a character, you know, the girlfriend for a while is kind of pretending to be super progressive and, like, you know,
she's like, it's scary.
But even then, she's deciding the lines of what she's doing. She's like, they hit a deer, and so a cop stops by. And the guy wants to see Chris's ID, even though he wasn't driving. And she's like, kind of starts a thing out of it. And Chris kind of doesn't want her to. And of course, Chris, I'm sure the reason he doesn't want her to is because he's used to people being like that. He's used to cops just IDing him for no fucking reason. Yep. You know, but she wants to make a thing out of it. And he says, like, that was cool. He says that was hot, you know, afterwards, and he appreciates it.
That was hot.
Right. Despite that, like, she's the one that shows this is how I'm going to, like, stand up for them. It's like, well, what if you, like, listened to them? You know what I mean? So I think that's something that doesn't happen.
Because he was trying
enough.
to tell her. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And she's not listening.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. She's just.
Right. And he was saying it's okay because it's a stupid, fucked up thing he's used to. And that sucks that he's used to it.
Yep.
Right? But he also was saying, like, don't get involved right now on my behalf. And she still did, you know? So, right around this time, 5 years ago, the George Floyd thing was going on. And even here in Watertown, South Dakota, we had some Black Lives Matter marches and a protest. And I was in the march. My brother actually helped put it together. And we marched from a park here over to the courthouse. And at the courthouse, there were people getting up and talking. And because, you know, a lot of people know me in town, but also they knew that I was whitest kids you know and all this stuff, they're like, Timmy, get up and say something. I was like, no, this isn't for me. But they kept persisting. So I'm like, okay, I'll get up there and say something. I said one or two things that were funny. I can't remember about what. But the main thing I said is, like, we need to, like, shut the fuck up. And we need to admit that we don't know what it's like. And we need to shut up and listen to everybody else.
The only time white people should say anything is to call out another fucking white person. That's the only time we should be saying anything.
100%. 100%. Like, have their backs, you know? But don't, like, decide the situation. And so when Rose is like, you know, the cop asked for his ID, she's like, why do you need it? It's like, okay, well, you're kind of standing up for him, but also, like, he's asking, like, I got it. You know, like, so I don't know. It's kind of like forcing a situation on them. Because here's the other thing. Is like and I just kind of am having this thought right now. But so she's forcing the situation, right? The cops, they're pulled over. They're in the middle of nowhere. The cop drives up and is like talking to her about the deer hits and whatever. And then he asks for the guy's ID, right? So, and she's like, well, no. Well, okay, but in this situation, that is putting Chris in more danger. Because, like, now you're agitating the cop. He could fucking shoot this guy. We know that it happens, you know, to black people a lot more than others. And so, like, you know, yes, it sucks that he had to put up with this guy being racist and profiling him, basically. But also, it's like, he probably also knows, besides just being used to people being like this, he probably also knows it could be worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this could escalate, so let's just fucking go. And she
Because
doesn't
she
want
was
to.
Escalating it. That's what was happening.
Yeah, absolutely is what she
and
was
I
doing.
was getting
100%.
nervous. I was going,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I think my daughter was too when we watched it, because, like, oh God. Because, I mean, even those kids, like, she has lived her whole life here so far. I don't know if I've said this before, but so there's a few funny things to bring up as far as, because you mentioned kids and racism, and yeah, they don't really know about it. I think you have to be taught racism in a way, but there's also, I think humans do have an innate instinct to fear what's different sometimes. And I think, you know, that's what turns into racism sometimes, right? But I think kids it doesn't really go that far. You know, she came home one day when she was like 4 or 5. She's like, there's a new boy in my class. He has very dark skin. She, like, didn't really get why. And so we talked about it, you know. But have I told the half-tan story on here before? I feel like I have. But okay, so my daughter's mom is white, but she's kind of a little bit slightly tan, kind of olive skin, slightly. Like, she's white, but she has a little bit more of a skin tone than me, which I'm just white and or bright red. But her mom has kind of an olive skin thing. Okay, so moving on. So when my daughter was like 6 maybe, and they started Black History Month, I pick her up from first grade or whatever. And I'm like, what'd you learn about in school today? She's like, well, today we learned about Rosa Parks. And she was this black lady that tried to ride the bus. And all these white people, that's the way she said it, all these white people made her move her seat. And I was like, well, that's stupid. She's like, yeah, and that's offensive to me because I'm half tan.
Aww.
And I tweeted that out, that little story out, a quick tweet version back in whenever that was. And I said, hashtag solidarity. And I had a few black women, like, that followed me or whatever, be like, yeah, we'll take her. Yeah, all right, sister. You know, that kind of... you know, but yeah, that's just to say, yes, I think humans have an instinct to be like, oh shit, this thing's different, I'm afraid of it. But I think, like, to go further than that is something you have to be taught, you know?
It's definitely taught. It's indoctrinated into them. It's the same thing as fucking religion.
It's not like you're going to sit your child down and be like, look, you should be racist. You should hate black people. It's more about what you're doing, because kids are paying attention to everything you're doing.
And kids aren't stupid.
No, they're not stupid. And I mean, you know, when my daughter gets frustrated and beats herself up about something, that's because she's seen me do it, because I'm really bad about that. So, you know, just different things like that.
And the only reason why I'm bringing up this kind of stuff is because Rose's family, because there's like her and her brother, and there's grandma, and grandpa, and her mom and dad, and it's like these kids have obviously been raised in a home where people that don't look like them are just not seen as humans that should exist in the same way. They're just used as like bits and pieces and parts that they can harvest.
Yeah. And Rose and her brother are the third generation of that, because it started with the grandpa. And when Chris gets to their house, that's a good segue into this. When Chris gets to their house, the dad's kind of giving him a tour. The girl, before they get there, Rose was like, he's going to say he'd vote for Obama a third time if he could, and it's going to suck. It's like, funny joke. But they get there, they're like looking at stuff. The dad's giving him a tour, and they see all these old pictures. And there's a picture of his dad, like from the Olympics, and he's like, he was the guy that Jesse Owen, famous black Olympic athlete, who qualified for the Olympics at a contest in front of Hitler. Hitler was in the audience. Mm-hmm. So this guy, Mr. Armitage, was the guy that Jesse Owen beat to get there. And as they walk away, do you remember what the dad says to him?
Yeah, he almost got over it.
Yeah, he almost got over it. That's one of the many fun little hints at what's going on in the movie, and the dad is just, and it's Bradley Whitford, who's fucking great, and he's so typical white progressive or white liberal dad, because they also, as they're driving in, he sees Chris sees that the gardener is a black man. They see that the maid or housekeeper or lady, whatever you want to say, is a black woman, and so then he's talking to her dad, just the two of them out in the garden or whatever. He's like, I know it looks weird, right? Like, white family, we're rich, and we have black servants, Well, they've just always been here, and they're my mom and dad's, they had hired them to look after us, so we just keep them around. But I hate that that's what people see. It's like, okay. Like, it's just such horse shit, And I'm not saying that because we find out what they are later. That has nothing to do with it. Like, when anybody talks like that, like to a black person, saying stuff like that is just so lame and so fake and like strained. It's like they're going way too far out of their way to be like, I'm not racist.
Black friends.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I have a black friend. It's all that kind of thing.
That doesn't mean you're not racist.
Right. Well, like I said, everybody is a little bit. And it's about accepting that and striving against it and trying to improve things and listening to black people and whoever else, and not, people push so hard to be like, I'm not racist. It's like that's not, you got to accept that you are. You are, I am, everybody is a little bit, because the way, the country we live in and the system, white people have been in control for a long time. It's not going away anytime soon. And we benefit from that. We're participating in racism. And to me, that makes us at least a little bit racist. And so it's about accepting that and moving forward and be like, okay, well, I'm going to try and make things better. But so he's saying all this stuff like, and then he really does say, I would have voted for Obama a third time if I could. And it's like such a lame thing to say. Also, it's like, I probably wouldn't have. Maybe. Depends on the primaries. No. But if it was him running against Trump in 2016, obviously I would have voted for him. But but if he was able to run again in the primaries, I would have voted against it. I would have voted for Bernie. So
I would have loved to have Kamala Harris. I would have loved to have a woman president.
Yeah.
But if they would have thrown Bernie in at the end, he would have won. Because even the fucking Trumpers love Bernie.
There's a lot of people do. I think what happened when Kamala got beat is we just proved that we're racist, but also we're very sexist.
Mm-hmm. I still think she won. I think him and Elon did some dumb shit.
Totally possible. It's just anyways. But and I don't think she would have been that great. Would she have been better than him? Totally. The whole system sucks. And as we're talking, we're getting involved in another fucking war. So it's like, but
yeah, she definitely wouldn't have dropped a bunch of fucking, how much was it? $4 billion worth of bombs.
I don't think you could say that at all. I don't think that's true at all. I think there's every possibility she would have.
Not in the first 6 months?
Sure. Yeah. If they thought about it, because the Democrats have Israel's back unjustly just as much as the right wingers do.
That's very true.
And the Democrats historically love bombing the Middle East. Obama did it all the time. Bill Clinton did it. Biden was doing it, So that's the problem is like both sides love bombing brown people. And it doesn't even matter if they're brown, because Obama proved that wrong, you know? So that's what sucks. And I think Get Out is kind of about that kind of stuff too, where it's like, there's not a simple end to racism. There's not a simple answer to it. And it's, it's just, it's easy for black people to participate in the bad stuff as anybody else, you know? And I say that, but then, you know, you think about this movie, it's like, well, the black people that are participating in the bad system in this movie are doing that. Why? Because they have white people inside of them.
I hate it so much. Just
So maybe he's kind of saying, like, you know, we get made part of their system and then we're okay with it, you know, which totally, I mean, that's what happened to Obama. I fully believe. I think he started out with really good intentions, and I think he was kind of just another centrist Democrat by the end of it, you know. And I think Kamala was that too. And yes, while she would be better than Trump, well, so would a pet rock, you know. But I still voted for her, obviously. But you know, I think we're so far away from having a president that I was actually like into and proud of. You know, I feel like the only good person that's ever been president, I think the guy Barack Obama was when he started was a good person. I don't think he was when he left. I think the only person that was good the whole time was Jimmy Carter. You know. I can't name another example, at least not in modern history. Yeah.
In my lifetime, I haven't.
I mean, really. The closest I can get is to
would have been Bernie.
Yeah.
I would have been proud of
and
Bernie.
I'm talking about. Yeah, I think so too. But he's still a politician. He still says stuff I don't like about supporting Israel. You know, so it's like, even though, but I think the closest we got to a good person being in the Oval Office was maybe the first year of Obama. You know, but because I think he was a seriously good dude that wanted to do good stuff and then got compromised. I think that's what happened. Goes back to the Bill Hicks joke about, he's like, I think what happens when you become president, you get inaugurated. Then after the inauguration, you're led into a dark, smoky room where 7 businessmen are smoking cigars, and one of them says, roll the film, and you see an angle of the JFK assassination that you've never seen before, and the lights come up, and one of them goes, any questions? I think that's probably not, I mean, that's a joke, but that's probably not far off, you know, so, I think that still happens, but anyways, but yeah, so, and that's all I'll say. It's a complicated thing, and it's like, you know, we were talking about earlier, do the right thing. Well, do the right thing doesn't present any easy answers to racism either. There's not even really, I think the only person who's straight up a bad guy in it would be John Turturro's character, who's kind of racist the whole time for no good reason. But there's no easy answer. Like, everybody in that movie has moments where you're disappointed in them, and then moments where you think they're doing a good job. And that is reality, you know? So
Rose, and I said this before, well, before they get to the house, she does such a good job of being like, you know, she's trying to like let him know, like, okay, they're not racist. And the things that come out of her family's mouths, she is shocked by their behavior. This is your family. You know these people. I was like, I ain't buying it. You know their behavior. You knew they were
It's
like
all
this.
put on.
You're totally fucking lied to him. You knew they were like this, and we're going to be like this.
Did she lie to him? I don't know. She said they're liberal, but liberals are like that too. Liberals are fucking racist. I mean,
that's true.
Like I said, everybody is. And liberals will say that kind of shit. And the kind of racism in this movie, it's not redneck racism.
Mm-mm.
It's not calling people the N-word. It's not, waving the Confederate flag. It's not not letting them come to your school. It's a much more insidious and in some ways worse version of racism, where they are saying, like, yeah, man, I'm down with you, but it's a very surface level thing, and you don't actually respect them at all, and you don't see them as your equal. Like you said, you see them as just something to be used for parts. And it's like you said, your grandpa was racist except for athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that's what this movie's about. About how, like, we only think black people should exist in certain parts of our lives, and athletics, especially basketball and football, are part of that. And there's a whole Chris Rock bit about how the reason they are a lot of black athletes is because they were fucking bred that way, because during slavery the weak ones didn't make it. And it's a horrifying thing to think about, but it's probably true. And I think that's why, like, after they experience everything that first night and they're in bed alone, Chris is like, I told you. Like, he's like, I knew it
told
would be like this.
you.
And I don't think he even meant that because of her or her family, but he's like, this is fucking white liberal people. In some ways, it's worse than someone who's just like an outright fucking racist, fascist asshole, because at least they're being honest about who they are. And these people are fucking shady. Think about it. So later on in the movie, when the dad is auctioning Chris off to people, they're doing it silently and with hand signals so that he doesn't hear them. You know what I mean? And that shit to me is so much more evil than if they were just doing it and he knew they were doing it. You know, like, it sucks. It sucks that even the people that seem to be allies are not, you know?
No. And did you find it odd that there was an Asian man in the group?
No. I mean,
No?
yes, but also no.
I just thought it was just going to be like all white people, just all white people party. And when he was thrown in there, I was like, oh, okay, interesting. And it just made me think of like, what is really going on here? Like, who is really coming to these parties? Like, how are they reaching out to these people? Do they say that there's like a little community?
Yeah. He says in the video that Chris sees towards the end, the grandpa character is saying like, we've developed this technology, this brainwashing the coagula process, and it enables us to do this beneficiary thing for our members. So there is some sort of cult thing happening.
Okay.
And the dad, when they're doing the silent auction, that there's like symbols and things being done, like they all know, like they're all in on it. And the Asian dude there, I think, is to say that that is what happens. I mean, it doesn't mean there's anything weird happening. That's just who fucking rich racist people are. Sometimes people from another races just gets involved with them. I mean, look at Trump's cabinet, especially the first time. He had black dudes. Does that mean they were like good people or any less shitty than the other people? No, they just got fucking involved. Like, that guy's just in there because like he's benefited from it, so he sees no problem with it.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I couldn't get
Yeah, and he's asking Chris questions that are fucked up too, And Asian Americans and Black Americans, there's a long history of racism between them. That's in Do the Right Thing quite a bit, actually, is, they're racist against the Korean shop owner and that. And he's racist to them, so there's so much of it. And it just comes down to these kind of rich liberal people shaking your hand in public, but like really behind your back, they don't respect you,
right.
And they don't see you as equal. And that's, I don't know, that's what the movie's kind of about. And also what I love about the auction thing is that like, there's so much about slavery and racism that never really went away. I think a lot of people acknowledge now that slavery still happens because of, private prisons and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I love about this movie is that scene is like, yeah, and there's still auctions too, motherfucker. It's like there's all the parts that still exist, like about, like there's still racism, there's still some slavery kind of stuff happening, and da-da-da. And there's also auctions,
And it's just the whole party, anytime the people were talking to Chris, I was so uncomfortable.
Yeah. This movie's really brilliant. There's a reason he won an Oscar for it. The Oscars are just a bunch of rich white people who mean well and probably don't. A lot of them probably don't understand why Get Out was good. They just knew that they were supposed to give him the Oscar for it. Like it's time a black person won Best Screenplay or whatever. So it's probably a bunch of horse shit. But I mean, obviously it deserved it. But one of the brilliant things about it is so the party scene. I mean, and it pretty much. We could talk about some of the other things that happen, but I mean, that is kind of the next big event that happens. And he's like at this party scene and all these people are talking to him. And like you said, the questions they ask him are so uncomfortable. And why is that uncomfortable? And I think one reason it's uncomfortable is because we know that's what fucking happens at things like that. Is like people having a conversation with someone out of the same race, and particularly with a white person to a black person, they're trying to not be racist, but then they're like, the way they're trying to relate to them is so fucked up and fake and also racist. It's like the first one he meets is the guy talking about golf, right?
I like Tiger.
Yeah. And it's funny because like it's not like basketball or football where there's a lot of good black athletes. There's just a couple, and the main one that most people remember is Tiger Woods, And so he's like trying to relate to him just because of one black golfer. And like asking if he golfs and all this stuff is like, what a shitty, fake, flimsy platform to be asking those questions from. Like, because there's one black golfer, this guy's gonna be into golf,
Or he's gonna be really good at it.
Yeah, that too.
Some of these questions are just so fucking odd that are racist, but also just strange. Like, but also very typical and cliche. That when the lady's like touching his chest, I remember she asked Rose, like, "Is it true what they say?"
What they say.
Yeah.
Meaning big dick or whatever.
Yeah. Like, jeez, Louisa.
And that's not like unrealistic. It's a little past reality, but that's, like we said before, good horror movies, it's like it's realistic and then it goes a little bit further in one direction or another. And but yeah, those conversations do happen, and people don't think they're being racist when they talk about it because they're being nice to the black person. It just goes back to being like, well, slavery's over, so that means racism is over. What? Or like you said earlier, I have a black friend, so I can ask you about your penis. Like, what the fuck? But then you learn why they're asking him, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a specific reason why they're each asking about specific things. Because they all want to buy him for different reasons. But
they're at the store.
Yeah, they're at the store and they're testing out the new model. But yeah, and leading up to that, I think the main thing that you don't want to skip over going from when he meets the parents to the party thing, the only thing plot-wise that you really want to talk about is that he has so many awkward experiences with the black maid and the black gardener guy leading up to that by the time Chris is at the party, he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's not super scared, but he's like, this is weird. Like, everything's weird here, I think is kind of where he's at by the time the party starts. And by the time he gets into the party a little bit, he's like, okay, this is fucked,
The white people are normal fucking racist weird. The black people here are being weird.
You're right. That's exactly what it is. Well, just like, when with the cop towards the beginning of the movie, he's used to fucking racist white people. And he's used to them asking stupid, like trying to be friendly, but still asking fucking stupid things like, being black is cool. And like, is your dick big, but yeah, the things that throw him off are the black people are acting fucking crazy.
Man, they're great.
They're so good. Every actor in this movie is really, really good, I think. But Betty Gabriel, I think her name is, who plays Georgina, is the best, I think. She's fucking incredible. Because that one scene is crazy.
Like smiling through tears.
Yeah. No. Oh my God.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Because I think you're going to say something important.
Why, thank you. Well, I was going to mention that we should talk about how Chris has a smoking habit, which I used to have.
And I used to have.
Yes.
Well, you know what? Holy shit, we need to get into this. Okay, we'll talk about this because I just remembered.
Get into this.
I just remembered a thing from my life that I've even talked about on stage before. So, so that you're involved in. So, don't worry, I'm not going around the country talking shit about you. But anyway, so Chris is a smoker, and we find that out, and she's like in the car, and she's like, don't smoke in front of them. And, he goes out at night for a cigarette and encounters the gardener and has a fucking weird interaction with him too. And the guy is so, he's weird. I mean, what else do you say? The way the gardener talks about the daughter, right?
I mean, full fucking speed running at you, but not saying anything. Just, I mean, that was scary. Just straight at you. Also, you're at someone else's home, so you already kind of feel out of place and kind of like not comfortable already, and then having to deal with the fucking weird family.
Yeah.
Her brother saying weird genetic fucking shit at dinner.
Yeah, with your genetic makeup and your build, you could be a great MMA fighter. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, I can see why you're not sleeping in this house, because you feel so fucking
why you
uncomfortable.
Want to have a cigarette.
But yeah, I'd go outside and have a cigarette too to calm me down. And then all of a sudden...
Yeah, and so he doesn't even have the cigarette. Because he comes out, and the first thing he sees is the guy running. He's like, what the fuck? And he looks back towards the house, and the maid is like up there being weird in the window. you know? And then he's like, okay, what the fuck?
What?
And he sees the gardener guy is up chopping wood, and he goes to talk to him, trying to like talk as one black man to another, just like, hey man, what's going on? And he's just so fucking awkward and weird. And you know, I don't think Chris is expecting everyone to talk the same way, like, yo, what's up, man, or anything like that. I don't think he's expecting certain stereotypical black actions, but he's expecting at least like a kind of normal, familiar conversation, and that's not what he gets. The gardener is just like, hi, yes, isn't Rose lovely? Or whatever he says is fucking crazy. I think no matter what race you are, if you're watching this, even before you understand the crazy horror sci-fi thing that's happening, it's still scary. Because you understand, you know, it does a good job of making you understand why this black man is so fucking freaked out by not just meeting these white people, which is an everyday thing that happens to lots of black men, but also just like getting weirded out by other black people not, you know, like he feels like they're not acting like normal, like they would, you know? And that's all like everyday shit that a lot of black people probably deal with. And then it just gets awesome horror movie sci-fi stuff after that. I see this as a sci-fi horror film. I mean, it's shelved under mad science at my house.
Me, this felt like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Just the whole hypnotizing bit.
Yeah.
First I found out he was a neurosurgeon, and then you find out she's a psychiatrist, but that she does hypnotism. I went, something nefarious is going on with these people. So I like how the mom kind of holds back in a lot of the conversations, but then she's just creepily sitting there waiting for him. Like, they kind of already established that they know that he's a smoker already, because they see him fidgeting, which is nicotine withdrawal. Dad's like, that's a nasty habit. And the way he says it is just like, okay.
Really judgmental. Yeah.
Really fucking judgmental. And they talk about how like he used to be a smoker, dad used to be a smoker. He didn't believe in the hypnosis to help him quit, but it worked. Man, when I saw her sitting in that chair and he was coming back inside, I went, well, fucking hell, do not sit in that chair.
Yeah.
This lady's gonna hypnotize you, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I bet it's a bad thing. What a cool fucking idea when he does get hypnotized.
Well, and the way you mean like the way they show it, like the sunken place and falling into the floor and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that it's like TV screen.
Yeah, that too is really cool. But yeah, and the way she just like he sits down and she's like, you know, that's my daughter, man. It's not cool for you to be smoking. And then she just worms her way into his head, and he has no idea at first, but it's like already working. And he starts every once in a while, she gets him to talk about this traumatic thing from his childhood where he was just watching TV and his mom outside got hit by a car and was dying. And that was the last time he saw his mom or whatever. He's just kind of talking it through, and like he didn't even want to bring it up, but she kind of coerces it out of him. And he starts kind of noticing, he's like, what are you doing? But like he tries to say that, and then like she just kind of barrels through that and keeps him talking in the way she wants him to be to eventually hypnotize him. You know, it's fucking crazy. He knows she's like getting an advantage over him. He can tell that she's like getting into his mind or whatever. And then she is about to hit the spoon on her teacup, and he goes, no. Because he knows that now that's going to mean something. Because they were kind of talking about that stuff. And she hits it, and he falls backwards, and that's a really cool effect.
Such a cool effect.
Yeah, and then the little weird, like, old-school TV screen. And, you know, I only thought about it now because you said it looked like a TV screen, but that's totally because of his TV-based trauma from his childhood. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And he obviously feels a lot of guilt and anxiety or whatever because of that. And he feels like he could have helped her or something. And
yeah,
it all comes out under hypnosis.
Well, you see at the beginning when they hit the deer, and he says, I'm going to go look.
Yeah.
Because it was a hit and run.
And there's a
accident.
Yeah. When his mom died. Yeah. I think she knows how to pull the details out, but she also, I think you're right, was told something by Rose. Because that is, like you said, that's Rose's whole job in this little fucking scheme they have, is to go meet the black man. And her brother does it too. He does it a little differently. But but she's supposed to get the information, so but the thing is that it works.
Does she say sync? Is that the code word that she says when she wants them to?
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, so now we've kind of realized that he's hypnotized, but it's this very, very strong hypnotism that's pushed him super far into the back of his mind. We don't know that, like, they're taking out white people's brains, and a white person's brain is going to replace his brain, right?
Right. Except for his basic nervous system, so the body can still function.
So, do you think they use the whole brain or just part of the brain? Because it feels like there's still part of them there, but they're just pushed so far back into like their subconscious.
Yeah, and they say that.
Like they're just buried into their trauma.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I think the whole visual of him going into the blackness is good. They show you that, and they show it happen a couple times, and then towards the end of the movie, when the blind dude is on video telling Chris what's going to happen, he's like, a little bit of you will still be there. And that's exactly like how you're saying, is like, that's what that is. It's like they're way back there, and he can see it happening through the little TV hole, like you said, but they can't really control. But yes, a little bit is still there. And so, we see that actually happen a few times in the movie, that Chris is able to bring out that little piece of them in some of the other victims,
Ugh.
I don't know if they take out the whole white person brain and the whole black person brain, or just certain parts, I think. Certain lobes, probably, whatever.
Mind control is fucking scary.
Yes, totally. I wanted to ask you about that, because hypnosis, right? So, there's stuff throughout history, whatever, of different mind control and hypnosis techniques. But have you ever been hypnotized? What do you think about hypnotism?
I'd love to try it sometime. I've never had it done to me before. I think it'd be interesting if it worked,
Yeah, and this kind of hypnotism, like she's telling him she's hypnotizing him to, make him quit smoking, but which it does, but also she's hypnotizing him to, like we just talked about, push his being to the back of his brain so to make room for a white guy mind, basically, So she's using hypnosis to do a couple things. And there are, cases in real life of hypnosis helping people quit smoking is a big one. But also, I think with like binge eating and things like that, right? I think that's one. But like, have you ever been to like a comedy show or whatever kind of show, a hypnosis show where the guy's like making people cluck like a chicken and stuff?
I watched it when it would be on some of like the daytime talk shows where they would have a quote unquote hypnotist on. And yeah, would make people just like talk and walk like a chicken. I remember seeing those a lot.
Do you think that's real? Because I don't know.
I think that's real. Is hypnosis in a medical setting called regression therapy? Is that the clinical term for it?
I don't know. Let me Google that, because that's an interesting question. I don't know. I thought they were two different things.
Where you hear people talk about sometimes trauma is so devastating to the individual that you completely have it wiped from your present being, and it's not until something triggers it that you remember it.
And so what I'm looking up now is regression is a process by which they guide you back to particular events that need to be examined. And so I think it's based on hypnosis, but it's not like the exact same thing, where they're not like putting you under
right
so much. I think what she does in the beginning is regression therapy, and then it gets into hypnosis. Because she gets him to draw out his traumatic event, but then she obviously fucking hypnotizes him. So 2009, Whitest Kids were on tour. We're in Miami. We're about to play a show at a comedy club in Miami. And there's two shows that night. The first show is a hypnosis show. And the guy goes way over. So he had like, I don't know, a couple hundred hypnosis fans, a couple hundred Whitest Kids fans waiting to get in while this hypnosis show wraps up. So just that fact of the rudeness of going over your time and making our fans wait made me hate hypnosis. But also the kind of show, the like the therapeutic hypnosis, like I was talking about, what this lady does and the regression stuff and the cigarettes, okay, all that. Okay, sure. But this kind of show hypnosis, I don't believe in. Like, and I've never had it happen, so maybe I'm totally wrong. But I was just like, I think these people are just up there and acting like a chicken because they have an opportunity to act like a chicken and they want to go along with the thing. I don't know.
That's the kind of thing that I'm not going to believe it till like I've acted like a chicken
Yeah.
and didn't realize I acted like a chicken.
Right. Until it happens to you, it's really hard to believe, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so this guy, the hypnosis guy, he was just a classic little like New Yorker guy. He's like, hey guys, oh, I really like your comedy. He's like, you know what? We should do more shows together. We're like, okay, man, this is not a show together. Your show, it was your show than our show, and your show fucked us because we started like an hour late.
Ugh.
But then he was like, we should tour together. We're like, yeah, we'll have our people call you. Bye. You know, whatever. But anyways, so the next day, Chris wakes up and he doesn't really remember what happened, but then he grabs a cigarette and what happens? He doesn't want to smoke it, right?
Yeah, he's like, oh, it makes me want to barf. Just the thought of a cigarette.
Yeah. So that's great. They fixed him, but obviously it's very fucked up for a few reasons. We, at the time, and at this part of the movie, we know it's fucked up because he didn't ask to be hypnotized.
Nope.
She kind of forced it on him and tricked him. That's fucked up. It's also fucked up because the only reason he doesn't want a cigarette is because he was being hypnotized to eventually have his body taken over by a white guy. We don't know that yet.
No.
But we know that something's fucked up about it, you know. And then he notices that his phone was like not plugged in. I mean, do you plug your phone in next to your bed before you go to bed? Like
I sure
end table
do.
or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, so do I. And I think a lot of people do. And so that's another really relatable thing. Because like I said, there's a whole black guy meeting white girlfriend's parents thing, which is relatable. I think it's relatable to anyone to meet your lover's parents. But, you know, there's a lot of black people who probably related to this specific version of it. But having your phone be dead, especially when you're in a new place, you don't know where you are really, you don't know anybody except maybe one person, you know, so that's all scary to have that connection with the outside world go away, you know.
It's panic inducing.
Yeah. Because I think we're all connected to our phones too much, but in his situation, he needs to check on his dog. He's worried about his dog. You could tell he's worried about his dog. You could tell he loves his dog because he mentions to his friend Rod that to not give the dog people food while he's gone because he has IBS. The dog, it's a little cute dog. It has IBS. But so he quit smoking, and so it works, right? And so you were saying you used to smoke. How did you quit smoking?
I think it was one of two things. One, it was because I stopped dating somebody who also smoked.
Okay.
I tended to pick up smoking whenever I was with somebody that was also a smoker. And then also, I just stopped. I just one day just went, I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore. It's been 7 years, I think, since I had a cigarette. Also, man, I can't imagine being a smoker now. Cigarettes are fucking $20 a pack here.
Yeah, man. Last time I was in New York, well, okay, last time is last year, but before that, I was there last time in 2014. And me and you and Paul hung out for a little bit when I was there. But also when I was there, I was in Brooklyn and went to like a bodega near Prospect Park area of Brooklyn, right by that big Target. And I saw this said $14, and I asked the guy, like, just one of the other customers, and I'm like, is that how much cigarettes are? He's like, yeah, they're more Manhattan. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm sure, like you said, now they're $20. Is that true? Like, they were $20 now?
Yep.
I believe it.
Yep. No fucking way. So it's
Crazy.
like, if I acted the way that I did 7 years ago today, so if I walked out of my house and bought a small latte and a pack of cigarettes, I'm already out $30 that day.
Mm-hmm. Fucking
That's
insane, man.
That's not even the fucking train. That's like, I leave the house, I
Right.
spent $50.
Or the drinks. Think of how much did we spend on drinks? You know, Jesus. And I know, you know, you and I, neither one of us have quit drinking, but like we don't spend that much anymore, you know?
No, I go to the bar once a week now, but like I know the bartenders, and so they'll generally buy me one of my drinks. But still, even then, it's like shit. I just spent like $30, like 3 drinks. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so you were able to just kind of quit.
Yeah, I quit cold turkey.
Okay. So when I moved to New York, I smoked a little bit when I lived here or when I was drunk with friends or whatever. But I started smoking pretty steady when I moved to New York. All the other whitest kids did at some point. And it's funny, I could have brought this up to Zach too, but when I started smoking, he's like, I can't believe it, man. I can't believe you and cigarettes, man. I was like, sorry, man, you guys are always smoking around me. Believe it. And I would smoke Lucky Strikes.
You had like withdrawal.
Huh?
You started out with withdrawal, not even being a smoker, but just because you were around cigarettes and inhaling them
Right.
all the
So
time,
I
it
started-
made you want to grab a pack.
Right. So I start exactly. Yeah, good point. And I would just smoke Lucky Strikes. I liked those. I smoked Camel Wides. I didn't smoke lights hardly ever. One time around Thanksgiving, Trevor and I went somewhere and I accidentally bought Parliament Ultra Lights. So I was smoking them 3 at a time. What kind of cigarettes did you smoke when you smoked?
Lucky Strike, non-filter, and then Parliament Lights.
Okay, yeah. And I smoked Lucky Strikes. I smoked Camel Wides a lot. And so when I first started hanging out around you at karaoke and stuff, you might remember, I also would wear a cardigan a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And is that brown cardigan? I'm wearing it in pictures with us all the time, probably. And I was drinking scotch. And what was that girl? Was it Chris? I can't remember what her name was, but she was also a foot fetish model. And she kind of had this like 50s style to her. Do you remember this girl? She was one of the karaoke people. She was around all the time. Anyways, she was cute, and I kind of had a thing for her, a crush on her. Nothing ever happened, but one time I was kind of talking to her, maybe flirting with her a little bit at the pianos. And I had, I'd been smoking, because I was still a smoker then. I was drinking scotch. I had a cardigan, and she goes, "You look and smell like my grandpa." So.
Grandpa Chic.
Grandpa Chic. So I was smoking for several years. There's a few things that helped me quit, but I was very good friends for a while with Chelsea Peretti, and we were just friends the whole time. Sometimes people thought we had something going on. We never did. We were just buddies. But so we hung out a lot for a while, like a year or two maybe. And there was one point where we were outside some cafe after lunch or whatever, and she was like, I was smoking. She's like, "You should quit. It's a filthy habit." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. So I quit for a couple months, but then I got back into smoking. And then about a year later, I fully quit. And the only time I've smoked since then was one cigarette I had once in Portland in like 2009. So that's it. But so when I talk about quitting smoking, there's a few jokes I've had about on stage. I used to tell this joke. I'm going to write a book about how you quit smoking. Here's what I did. It's called Quit Smoking the Timmy Williams Way. And it's a 1-page book. And you open it up, it just says, every time you want a cigarette, eat a sandwich. And then you flip the book over because it's a flip book. And it says, lose weight the Timmy Williams Way. Every time you want a sandwich, have a cigarette. So that was one of my jokes about it. But I eventually started doing, or I maybe I've told it once or twice on stage, but I kind of was trying to work into it a bit, and I stopped doing it. But the way I would tell it on stage is like, here's how I really quit smoking. One day, I woke up in bed, and I started smoking a cigarette as soon as I got up. And then the naked model who was sleeping next to me got up and said, "You should quit smoking." And I said, "You got it, naked model." And it worked. And then people laugh, and I say, "I wish you would have told me to do more things, like don't get married too quickly, watch what you eat, and don't refer to people as naked model." So that's the whole bit. But the point of this story is that you told me to quit smoking, and I quit smoking.
It was me?
Did you know that?
No.
You! What? Who do you think I meant when I said naked model in that joke?
I don't know. You could have been in bed with a naked model. So I don't know.
But no, did you know that? Have I told you that before?
I didn't know it was because I said that. Interesting.
Dude, yeah. And I mean, yeah, at the time we had a thing going on, whatever. And, so that was probably part of it. It was also probably helped that there was no clothes involved. I was like, okay, good looking naked lady told me to do something, I should do it. But, but yes. But I really, like, since that moment, I've only had one other cigarette.
But wasn't I smoking too?
I don't think so.
I would have these like years. I smoked in high school because I wanted to bum cigarettes off like the guy I had a crush on. So that's how I started smoking in high school. Or I would also like just get the brand cigarettes I knew he smoked. So I would hope like he would bum them off of me because he would like see that I had the pack and then we would like talk. Which worked. But we became friends. Like nothing else happened. Because actually, the more I got to know him, I was like, actually don't like you like that now that I know you. But then, years would go by where I wouldn't smoke, and then either something traumatic happened in my life, or actually, I wasn't smoking when I went to Iceland for the first time with Karaoke Killed the Cat, like when we went over there all together. I wasn't smoking then, but then on the way back, when we almost got in a plane crash.
Whoa, yes, I remember that kind of.
I picked up smoking then.
Whoa.
I was so
Makes sense.
glad that we didn't die. I went up to a guy I saw from the same plane as us, and he was in the smoking lounge smoking Lucky Strikes filtered. I went in and I said, "Can I bum one of those? That was really fucked up. I'm really freaked out. I haven't had a cigarette in a really long time. May I have one of those?" And he goes, "You can have a carton," because he was bringing cartons from Reykjavik back home. He's like, "You have a whole fucking carton for what we just went through." And I was like, "All right." And then I started smoking again.
Oops.
But then I would stop, and then I would date somebody that was a smoker, so I would pick it up again. I wouldn't at first, but then I just would eventually pick it up. Because I'd just be around it all the time.
Right.
So
I totally get it. Yeah. I don't know when you and I were doing stuff if you were smoking or not, because when I woke up that morning and smoked, I also was coughing, and so I don't think it was about you not smoking or not. I think you were just like, you should stop. So I don't remember if you were or not, because that wasn't really part of it. That was just you hearing me cough like that and be like, you should stop.
You had that smoker's cough, probably.
Yeah, it's probably what it was. I'm sure it's what it was.
Scary.
But yeah. But anyways, you really did like start the thing. I stopped smoking. So thank you. And thank you for whatever else was happening right before that. but also, you know what I did is so I didn't drink for a month.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing too.
And that really helped.
Yep.
Yeah. And then after that, this whole time I'm spending a lot of time at pianos every week, right? So hanging out at a bar every day almost. So then, I quit smoking. So I didn't drink for a month till the not smoking thing stuck, right? So, okay, now I've successfully quit smoking. Now I'm just drinking. So I'm at a bar. Everybody else goes outside to smoke at the same time, occasionally, Like, let's go outside and have a cigarette. And so they come back in, and I'd be like, "Hi, guys, how's it going?" Because I'm, like, drinking the whole time they're out there. So I'm, like, fucking trashed, It was funny. So, anyway, so that's all. I can't, like, you mentioned smoking, like, oh my God, I forgot about all that stuff. But, yeah.
It's a trick. You know what? You were triggered. It was a trigger memory.
Oh, no, you know what? You fucking sunken placed me.
I totally did.
But yeah, so I quit smoking because of Shandy, so good job. So going back to the movie, I guess we should do. So one thing you said you like about when he sinks into the floor and then he sees everything on the little TV screen, right?
Uh-huh.
And after he gets hypnotized the first time, he's hypnotized the rest of the movie. He just doesn't know it, right?
Yep.
And so once he figures out all the bad shit's going on, she clinks the teacup again and he just falls like that, remember?
Yep.
And when he does that, he sees them looking at him, but it's like through that TV screen and it's getting further and further away, right? So the actress who plays the mom in this movie is Catherine Keener. What's the other big movie I'm sure you've seen that she's from that a lot of people our age love?
My brain.
Being John Malkovich.
Oh, damn it. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So Catherine Keener's in that movie, right? So in Being John Malkovich, they find a tunnel into John Malkovich, and it turns out to be a tunnel that has different points in history has gone into a different person, and that people can go into there and live inside that person and therefore kind of be immortal. And at the end, a character does it, but goes in too late, so he's not in control. He's just inside there. And when he gets inside there and he's not in control, it's all black, and he can see the world through a little tiny screen in the middle. Very similar to the thing that happens in Get Out, and they both involve Catherine Keener.
Jordan Peele must love that movie.
Maybe. Because, there is kind of similarities, too, because that's what he's doing. That's why they're auctioning off these black guys, is because the different white people are purchasing the right to have their brain put in these guys. which doesn't make them immortal because obviously the guy's body's going to die like a normal person, but it definitely extends their life.
Yeah, I didn't even think about being John Malkovich when that's right. Ugh.
It's weird. I mean, so she's been in shots like that in 2 different movies where she's in a little box thing that gets smaller and smaller. That's crazy. Should we talk about Rod now?
Yeah, I love Rod.
What made you like the movie? Like, what was the first thing when you were watching it this time around? What was the first thing that made you say, okay, I love this movie? Because I was guessing Rod.
Part of it was Rod.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was making me laugh, and it was just like this great, like there's just this awful fucking shit is going down with his friend, and he's that person that's in every horror movie that like hits it the nail on the head of like what is happening. He's like, people are being hypnotized, put in a trance, being turned into sex slaves. It's like, yes,
yeah,
that's exactly what is happening. He knows.
Yeah.
His TSA agent friend knows exactly what is happening. He's not even there, but he knows. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Jordan Peele does such a great job of just making you have a really, really good laugh in the midst of like these really fucking bad thing that's happening to this guy. I mean,
yeah,
he thinks he's in a committed relationship with this girl. Like he says he loves her to her, and she says it back.
Crazy. And he's a good boyfriend.
Oh, he's fucking amazing.
Right?
Yes.
He's honest about his feelings. They have some disagreements, but it's never... You know what's funny is I recognize this, but I was never able to be good at it. Like, I was never anybody's good boyfriend or husband, but I know what it looks like, I guess. But anyways, he was like... he was like understanding with her, loving to her, physical, intimate, whatever, all that stuff. And he didn't, when they had disagreement, he didn't like hate on her. They like talked about it and figured it out, but he still stood up for himself. Like, I thought it was a good relationship, and that's what makes it so fucked up that she's good at that, Yeah,
it's like the ultimate fucking betrayal. Like, I wasn't going to give you these keys, babe.
Yeah, god damn. Real quick aside, since we talked about the cigarette thing, we talked about relationships. You know what is another weird fucking coincidence?
What?
Well, so I said, who was my friend that I said first told me to quit smoking, and it stuck for a little while, then I got back on it until you told me to quit smoking. But who was the first person I said told me? In that story just now. Chelsea Peretti, right?
Yeah. Who's
Chelsea Peretti married to? Jordan Peele.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They have a kid, 1 or 2 kids.
Wow.
Yeah. They've been married for a long time. Yeah.
Wow.
I just realized that I'm like, wow, weird. We're so good at that. That's so fucking weird, but it works. Chelsea's so fucking cool. Did you ever meet her very much? Did you ever get to talk to her much?
She was around.
Because I'm sure you saw her around. Yeah. She was around. But good lady, good person, and extremely fucking funny.
Yeah.
Really, really funny. Were you at the show? And I don't remember what she said, but she kind of opened for Whitest Kids once at one of our piano shows, and these 2 girls were talking, and she just like destroyed them, like made them cry.
Oh.
I don't remember the details, but like the kind of girls that would show up at pianos sometimes, like on the weekends, like the party kids, Bridge and Tunnel kids, right? And so they were like those kind of girls, but they would
just
like
Kids
show.
Go in the room, not knowing that it was a comedy show, and then just kind of being like, I don't really want to be here, but it's like, leave.
Yeah, and Chelsea made them wish they were never born. So good job. But anyways, that was just the side that I just thought of, like, holy shit. Anyways, it all comes together, man. But the way they kind of play this out, because he starts figuring out, like we talked about, the maid clearly has something wrong with her, and she's trying to fight through something, like Shandy, that's how you put it. And I think it becomes obvious that the gardener is too. But then during the party, all these white people are asking him all these weird fucking questions about his abilities, and he meets a blind guy who's an art dealer that Chris knows about, probably because Chris, is a professional photographer, like you were saying. And the guy is blind, but he's like, you have a great eye, man, because he's like, my assistant explains your pictures to me, is what he said. It's like, does that work? I don't know. But
great detail. I guess.
Yeah, in great detail. Like, that's a weird line It's a weird thing to say to somebody, and it's a weird thing to have happening, right? Like, that's weird.
Very bizarre.
But Chris is impressed because he's heard of this guy, and he takes it as a big compliment, But right after that, then he finally sees another black person at the party, besides the crazy-ass maid and the crazy-ass gardener. And it's this, it's the guy that we see at the beginning of the movie that got kidnapped. And now uses a different name, and he's, like, married to an old white lady. And he's dressed like a fucking lame white guy. Right?
Well, then, like, Chris is, like, trying to interact with him, and he's just like, God, he's like, yay, another person I can try to relate to here. Nope. Can't relate to you either. You're also being fucking weird. What the hell?
Yeah. I think that's the first point where we as the audience are now ahead of Chris a little bit.
Yep.
We know something he doesn't because we've seen that guy in the beginning of the movie, and it's not a very long scene in the beginning. They give you just enough of this guy talking so that when you see him later and hear him talking, you're like, whoa, that's not the same at all. Because he's talking like a modern urban black dude in the beginning, He's like, man, this shit's crazy. This, wood, whatever the two streets are, he's talking about that and everything. And then when he meets him later, he's talking very similar to how the gardener talks, which is like, hello, yes, this is great, thank you. Like you said, they sound like when Eddie Murphy would do an impression of a white guy in his stand-up.
It's just like that, like whitewashing a black person, basically. Like,
That's exactly what it is.
Like, oh my God, they kidnapped him. What did they do to him? Why is he acting like that? Because at this point, you don't know why they're acting. I was like, okay, so they're being hypnotized to be subservient,
which is partially true,
and whatever role they're needed. So for this lady, it's like I was like, Rod, you're a sex slave thing. That's true.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
Right, and he and Rod has that exact reaction because a little bit later in the party, Chris takes a picture of Andre, who now is going by the name Logan, and he sends it to Rod. We'll get to what else happens in a second. But the reason Chris sends it to him, he's like, I feel like I know this guy. So he sends it to Rod, and Rod immediately calls back. He's like, that's Andre Hayworth. And Chris is like, what? So yeah, and then he's like, sex slaves. Because Chris tells him that he's married to an old white lady. Rod's like, yeah, sex slaves.
Like, no, man, he's from Brooklyn. Like, he's missing.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But man, when we talk about triggers, I had written this down that, like, thank goodness Chris is a photographer and that he just kind of knows the right moments of when to take photos, but he didn't realize his flash was on. It kind of, like, put a crack in whatever was, like, done to him, and he broke like, free for a minute.
Yeah, it threw off the programming.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
You see their eyes go white a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like their pupils change for a second. We haven't talked about this with other movies much, but the thing I love is then Andre / Logan gets out of it for a second because the camera flashed, and then he says the titular line. He's like, get out! And they think he's mad at him or something, but he's telling him to get the fuck out of there.
Go.
Right? Isn't that what I thought that's what he's really doing.
Yeah, it's the only thing he can, like, warn him. Like, he can't really, what else can he do or say? He's trapped in there.
Right. And there's not, the flash does bring him out, but there's not much. Well, it's like when the blind guy explains it to Chris later, it's like there's a little bit of you left. So that little bit of him is trying to get out. He's now presented and it says get out. But yeah, there's not really anything else he can do, but they all think he's like crazy or whatever. Well, Chris thinks he's crazy or whatever. Every other person there knows what's really going on.
They take him aside and fucking hypnotize him some more. They push him back more is what I thought in my mind.
Yeah, no, totally. So Chris goes upstairs after the whole thing, and they kind of sit around for a bit like, oh my God, that was crazy. Everyone's like, are you okay, Chris? Oh, yeah.
When he goes upstairs, though, it was really freaky because every single person in the party just stopped talking. And their eyes followed him up the stairs.
Yeah.
Like, does he know? Has he figured it out? Should we be worried?
Yeah, they're worried he's going to run away. Yeah. And that's when he, like, tells Rod's like, I told you, sex slaves and all that shit. Yeah, so then he's, like, freaked out about it. And Chris tells Rose, like, we should leave. And so they go out and have a walk. And so when they're on their walk, is when the dad has this silent auction that we were talking about earlier.
I wrote down, I don't like this bingo game that they're playing. Don't like it.
Hey, I want to ask you something. So you had seen this before, but when you watched it last night, did you remember any of it?
The most that I had remembered was that there was a racist family, and I remembered the sunken place. I remembered that.
But you still remember that you didn't like it.
That was my recollection, because I'd only seen it the one time. So that was my recollection.
Right. Well, it's weird because that was my same thing with the Black Phone, is that I remembered not liking it. And then, like we talked about in that episode, I even, when I looked at Letterboxd, oh, maybe I did like it. But whatever. But so you didn't remember all the all the hypnotist stuff, all the brain surgery, all that stuff.
No.
So they, Chris and Rose go off, and they have a real, again, she's playing her part creepily well, where they have this really great little conversation about everything and about why it bothers him and yada, yada, yada. But one thing that I kind of noticed this time watching it is, like, when Chris brings up a concern or an issue throughout the movie, how does Rose normally react right away? What is her first reaction normally? Do you remember? She always has like a snide comment or makes it into a little joke, right?
She does kind of brush it aside with a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, she uses humor to deflect it. I think in a relationship, if their relationship was real, I think that was like a good thing, because she's trying to because then she still listens to him and stuff, but she starts out playing. And like, that's why he's like, so you got jokes. You know, that's a good line. But, you know, but so it's kind of this love tap kind of thing. Like, she's giving him shit, but it's because she cares, so she's trying to help calm him down. And so in one way, it seems like it's a good tool in her toolbox of having a good relationship. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But since we found out shortly afterwards that it's all bullshit and that she's just doing this to trap this guy and sell him off and whatever, like, I think that's almost a clue when you're watching it again after you already know how it ends. Because it's like, oh, she actually just doesn't fucking respect his feelings at all because he's a black person, and she doesn't think his feelings are valid because he's black. You know?
Yeah, that's why I called bullshit.
In a good, healthy relationship, you would have that, though, right? Like, again, I'm not super familiar with the concept, but the jokes and stuff are a way that people deal with things, right?
I mean, it's hard to have difficult conversations with people that you care about because you want them to be okay. So sometimes you joke because, one, it helps you feel okay enough to try to be there for them. But at the same time, the first thing you should do is listen. Maybe not joke about things, because sometimes then that does kind of minimize like what has occurred or what is happening or what you're feeling. Yeah. But at the same time, sometimes that's just your dynamic that you have as a couple, is that you both joke about things to try to work through the uncomfortable things.
Right. Because he does joke with her too.
Yeah.
But man, what you bring up is a good point, because yes, the listening thing, right? And yes, while humor what might be a good tool in their relationship, it is the only tool she has. Because since she actually doesn't give a shit about this guy and is clearly really, really racist in some fucked up ways, she's not going to listen to black people.
No.
So she doesn't even, that's not even an option, even when she's pretending to be in love with them. So she goes to the humor thing.
She's also, we find out, has played this part so many times. She's like a fucking robot at this point. Like, she can turn it on and off, like with a snap of a finger.
And she does. I mean, we see that happen. So they come back to the house. Chris doesn't know he's been auctioned off. But they come back to the house, and it's now nighttime. Which I hope that they had sex by the lake, because he deserved to have sex one more time. And having sex by a lake is nice. I did that once. Well, it was a river. But it's nice, right? Have you ever had sex outside in a pretty situation? Not in a river, but on the banks of a river I did once. And they're at a lake. Have you ever been in a situation like that?
In a lake, down by the river.
In a van, down by the river. But no, you never boned in like a nice, idyllic outside location?
On a rooftop. It was not comfortable.
I was going to say, were you just straight up laying down on the roof?
Yeah, on like some concrete, and it was not comfortable at all. And every time I think about, I'll think about it every once in a while. And I'm like, why did I get? I did was not a good time. Did not have a good time.
Man, why am I thinking about this? I can't masturbate to this at all. Anyways, whatever. But no, so when you say that, I think about like Brooklyn rooftops that have all that like tar and gravel on them.
Well, and also I was scared because it was like a really high building, and we had to climb on the ladder, which was like on the outside of the building. So it was like really fucking
like a fire escape.
Yeah, it was really scary to get up there too.
Oh God.
But yeah,
we were on the ground. We were by a river.
Yeah, that's smart. That's way.
It was
smarter.
pretty safe.
That's what you should be doing.
Yeah. It was beautiful. And so was that. But anyways, so but yeah, I don't even know. Oh yeah. So they come back at well, because I was just thinking, I'm like, wait, they go there and it's still daylight. They come back, it's night. I'm like, oh, maybe they got to have some outdoor lake sex. Because think about this, right? Okay, so Rose has been tricking these dudes for years, and a woman, because we also learned from the pictures he finds that she dated the woman too. It seems like that became that was the maid, right?
The groundskeeper and the maid. I was like, oh my God, she was with all of them. Oh my God.
Yeah, and a bunch of other dudes, like you said, she's done a bunch. So now she's got Chris, so she knows. Like, I'm sure it's a pretty similar script, so to speak, every time, where she knows, okay, it's a late afternoon, the day of the party, and the late afternoon, I got to lead them off somewhere so that these guys can auction the person off. Then I bring them back, right?
Yep.
And so she knows that the end is coming, right?
Yep.
So I wonder if she's like, well, this guy's pretty hot. Maybe I should like fuck him again before we go back. Right? I bet she does.
Probably, but also it's just.
Don't you think so?
But also, like, sometimes sex can be a deflection. So it's like, it's a distraction.
Yeah. You're totally right. Yeah, he'd be like, well, I'm worried about this. It's like, well, how about I take out my cool boobs and put my vagina on you, and then you stop worrying about it. Yeah, just to put your stuff in my stuff.
My family's crazy, and so are all the people that hang out with. But everything's all right.
My family's crazy about you.
I know you feel uncomfortable. You'll feel comfortable in my body.
You know what'll feel comfortable? Your wiener in my body holes. Anyways.
My body hole?
Yeah, that's a sexy talk, right? That's sexy. He touched my body holes. Oh, God, what the fuck? Anyways.
In my body hole.
They go have their talk by the lake. They probably have some sweet lake sex. And then they go back, and it's nighttime. And the rest of her family's like standing outside on either side of the door, which is super weird.
I hate it because the brother's playing the ukulele like a fucking freak.
Yeah, it's almost like a reference to like Deliverance.
The brother fucking pisses me off every time he's on screen. Just his little ratty fucking face.
Oh yeah. Caleb Landry Jones is the actor's name, and he's also in Twin Peaks: The Return, playing surprise a piece of shit. And you know what I wrote down about him? What? Caleb Landry Jones equals evil Macaulay Culkin. That's what he looks like.
He does. That's perfect. Yes.
Right? So they're going up, they're getting ready to leave, and she steps out, and he's like suspicious. So he looks in the closet and finds a box of pictures of her with all these other black people, despite the fact that early beginning of the movie, she tells him that she hasn't been with any other black people.
Mm-hmm.
So then he's like, what the fuck?
But when he recognizes two of them as like the people that work there, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
What? And the way they're dressed and stuff, he can tell that they were different. Like, because the guy that's the groundskeeper I think he had facial hair and stuff, and looked like a pretty G'd up dude, you know, kind of like doing the kind of hip hop lifestyle kind of look to him. And obviously that's not the case anymore. So he's like, what the fuck? So then he's like, ready to fucking get out of here.
Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here now. Like, what the fuck?
Like, he knew with the Andre thing that they need to leave. But then at this point, he's like, oh, I think I need to leave without Rose, I think is going through his head. Because he keeps asking her for the keys. And this is such a great, tense, fucked up, weird moment.
I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah, because it's like it's all hitting the fan, and like the shitty part is, at this part, you know, we're in the last 20-30 minutes of the movie, and at this point, normally at least something's gone wrong for the villains of the movie, or something's gone not how they planned. But this time, everything's gone exactly to plan. He goes downstairs and like they're all just kind of hanging out. And then Rose comes down. He's asking for the key. She's like, I'm trying to find him. I'm trying to find him. While the dad says some fucked up shit. What does the dad say that kind of, where the dad finally reveals, hey, I'm evil? He says something. Do you remember what he says? I don't remember.
He just like starts talking about what he's about to do. I forget what he says.
You know what? He starts yes, some of that, but he also, I just remembered, I think. He starts talking about how, like, black people are, like, you know, physically better and better at this and stuff like that, and how by combining that with white people's fucking, like, will or whatever, that they make the best people, right? Something like that. And they mention that later, too. But so he says something like that. It's like, what the fuck? He's like, Rose, where's the keys? And she's playing along, still be like, oh, no, no. Because he's like, Rose, those keys aren't in the bag, are they? And she's like, sorry, they're right here. I'm evil, right? Isn't that basically what happens?
Well, she's like, you know, I was never going to give you those keys, babe. She says, babe. Like,
yeah, like, it's still like,
you know, I was never going to. She goes from like panic to like evil so quick.
Yeah. And so you mentioned this earlier, that she, you know, it just changes at the drop of a hat. You know, so at this point, then the mom hypnotizes Chris, and she just clinks on the teacup once, and he just falls over, basically. The dad and the mom and the brother get Chris and take him downstairs. The girl just goes back up to her room, and we see her. It just kind of cuts to some other stuff that cuts to her. She's eating. Okay, I don't know where to start with this. First of all, she's got her hair slicked back now, right?
Yeah, she doesn't look like girlfriend anymore. She looks like an employee.
No. Right. Or Hannibal Lecter is kind of what I thought. You know, like a fucking psychopath. Yep. And you know what else makes her like a psychopath? The way she's eating Fruit Loops. What the fuck is that all about?
Who eats them like that?
Yeah. Okay, one at a time, weird. But then, like, you just suck the milk out of through a straw out of a glass? And that's how you're eating your cereal?
But she also took, like, one loop, like, Fruit Loop, and, like, bit into it.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, she doesn't even eat it all at once. It's weird. Is that how she keeps her sexy, trapping black people figure, is by eating one Fruit Loop a day? Is that it?
Fucking psychotic.
And then what's she doing on the computer?
Well, she was, like, looking up NCAA players on the phone. She's looking up the next fucking target.
Yeah.
Like, that quick?
Yeah. Which, yeah. And what's weird to me is, like, okay, well, how often do they do this?
It seems like the minute that he's gonna go get surgery, she's already starting the next one, because she has to, like, start a whole relationship. She has to, like, find out where to meet them.
Yeah.
Like, she has a whole fucking research thing that she has to do. So it's like she has to start right away.
Yeah. Because she has a year, because it's a yearly event. So she has a year to meet the person. Yeah. And then they have a shot that my daughter pointed out to me. All the pictures that were in the shoebox are now hung up in frames on the wall.
Yeah. Like her prizes. These are all of the deer I have hunted.
Oh, okay. You know what? I never fucking put that together. That's the deer heads on the wall.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I never fucking figured that out before.
Good writing.
Well, yeah, it is good writing, but thanks for fucking figuring out so you can tell me every 10th time I've seen the movie. You know what? It's because I'm an old hornball. I was probably staring at her pretty face instead of looking at the wall behind her. So.
Well, she is really pretty.
Or, you know what I was probably doing? I was probably so disgusted by the way she eats cereal that I wasn't even thinking about that. I was probably like storming around my living room like, what the hell's the problem with this lady's cereal? What a fucking creep!
They blur the background a little bit too, because I went, is that what I think I'm seeing? That she's got them all framed? She probably has that up all year long until they have to come over and they all get put in the shoebox.
Yeah. Oh my God. And she's on the way. She probably tells them, okay, make sure to take all the kidnapped black people pictures down so we can kidnap this new black person.
She's the fucking worst.
Yeah. You know what? And I'll bring that up in a second again. But so because she is, and there's a clever thing that kind of involves that I want to mention. But Chris wakes up in the chair, and it's a chair everybody's seen on the posters and shit. It's a famous image. He's like strapped to this brown chair, And he opens his eyes. There's a deer head up on the wall. And the camera does this really cool thing where it kind of comes up, but also tilts down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see past Chris's head, goes past the deer head on the wall too, and you see a TV, and the video turns on. And it's the grandpa, Armitage, who had been, Rose's grandpa, explaining the coagula and this whole, how there's a group of people, and he and his son, actually he says his son figured it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They developed this process where they can, put themselves in someone else's body, and it's all, behold the coagula. The video is like this weird, it's like a commercial basically about it, but the people in the commercial know that they're talking to the captured person. Like that's what the video is made for,
Yeah.
But it just explains that they're part of the coagula now. And then the video ends, and then a video of a teacup comes up, and he's like, "Ah, shit."
Oh, shit.
And the thing goes clink, and it knocks him out. And then he wakes up again, and now he's watching the video again, but now the video is the blind dude, the art dealer he met earlier, in a surgical gown, clearly in some sort of, on a bed and some sort of surgery situation.
Oh, yeah, because he won the auction.
Yeah, because, oh yeah, we didn't mention that part. He won the auction. And I don't know how much money it was, but I'm thinking $400,000. Because there's the number 4, like the dad holds up a 4. Or do you think 4 million?
I don't know, man. I would think it would be a lot.
I think 400,000 is a good guess, but I mean, these people are loaded, so it could be 4 million. Because this is like a big investment, obviously, for them, so I don't know. That's when we finally just get the straight up explanation what's happening. Is we're going to take my brain, take out a bunch of your brain. We're going to put my brain in your brain hole. And we're leaving just enough left of you so that I can control your body. You will still be able to see, but I'll be in control. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, he says, I want your eyes. I want to look through your eyes.
Yeah, that's the last thing he
Yeah,
says.
it's fucked up.
He says, I want your eye, man. As in his talent for photography is what he really wants.
Yeah.
I want your eye.
Ugh,
And then he just goes, okay, we're done. Like, has no fucking empathy at all. It's crazy. That's kind of what this is about, is because, like, we, as white Americans, but white people in general, really, we fetishize black people's talents for things. We don't see them as full people. We see them as, like, oh, I don't fucking care about this person, but they're good at basketball. I don't fucking care about this guy, but he's a good photographer. We don't treat them like people. We don't care about their rights. We, shoot them. We let them get mistreated in the criminal justice system. We let them struggle in poverty. A lot of that is race-based as well. Even thinking about New York and how Robert Moses designed the street systems in the boroughs to kind of keep poor black people in one spot. You ever heard about that?
yeah.
And, fucked up. We treat them like non-people, except when it comes to sports, just like we were talking about with your grandpa. And so that's kind of a big part of this movie to me, is like, it's about how we fetishize black people's talent without humanizing them, Well, that's the last thing he says to Grace. He's like, I want your eye, man. Then he just goes, okay, we're done. Like, has no fucking empathy at all. It's crazy.
I mean, we've been experimenting on black people. We've stolen them and brought them here,
Yeah.
and it's still happening today. I mean, I don't know if you know the story of that poor woman that was declared brain dead. She was 6 months pregnant, I think. Adriana Smith. Declared brain dead. Basically, her corpse was decaying, but they kept her fetus alive in her body. Even though she didn't want that, her family didn't want it, but the law in her state said, well, she has a baby in her, so we're going to keep her on life support even though she's dead. We're going to keep her organs alive as much as we can.
Crazy.
And the headlines keep saying, oh, her baby was delivered. It's like, no, it was cut out of her corpse. She's a decaying dead person. Like, she didn't give birth.
Right.
And the family has to pay for it too, for keeping her dead body alive. Well, not her dead body alive, but just keeping her organs. It's really fucked up. It's really scary, and it's really creepy. They're experimenting.
Yeah, so it is still really happening. Yeah, we saw, Tuskegee Airmen's another thing, that's happened not that long ago, really. And slavery didn't even end that long ago. Slavery only ended, the Juneteenth that just happened. Juneteenth, that was the 160th anniversary. That's not that long ago,
Nope.
in the grand scheme of things. So, that's crazy. The art dealer is Jim Hudson. And I wrote he's maybe the worst because he like has more empathy towards Chris, and he's blind, so he's not as immediately racist. But he uses that to do the same shit they all do. But I also thought maybe that Jordan Peele was commenting on something else, because here's something I really fucking hate. And it goes towards this whole kind of racism that we've been talking about with this movie, which is the liberal, fake, progressive racism, right? Mm-hmm. Is because I really fucking hate it when people say, I don't see color. Because that's bullshit. And I think it's disrespectful to black people to say, I don't see color. It's like, you don't notice that I'm black? Fuck yeah, you do. And, actually my mom wrote a little thing on Facebook a couple years ago that I loved. And she's like, I don't agree with the whole I don't see color thing. She's like, I do see color, and I think it's all beautiful. She's like, I think, I want to see your beautiful dark skin or white skin or tan skin or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And she's right. I think to truly like go beyond race and racism, it's not pretending they don't exist, that these differences don't exist. It's by seeing the differences, accepting them, celebrating them, maybe even, but you don't even have to celebrate them, but you see the differences and accept them and not treat the person any differently because of it. But pretending the difference doesn't exist doesn't mean you're not racist. You're just pretending that the thing that makes you racist isn't there.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean you're not racist. That means you're ignoring the thing. So like, fake yourself out. You're not fixing your racism. You're just like taking out the thing that you would be racist about. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
And so I think having this guy be blind might be a comment on that.
Yep.
But I agree. I agree with my mom. I mean, shit, man. I was going to say this because, whatever is true. Okay, so like I said, my first crush was on a black girl. Who cares, right? But I think about like, the difference of the beauty of skin and stuff. I'm like, who I was obsessed with in high school because of a Sports Illustrated cover? You know who I'm going to say now, I bet. Tyra Banks. Gosh. It's true.
Well, yeah, she was hot.
So, dude, you know what cover I'm talking about, right? It's iconic.
Of course.
And she's in that red polka dot bikini. Holy shit.
Yep. Beautiful.
Her boobs look so good. But like a large part of why that photograph is so hot and why she's so hot and beautiful in it is because of her dark skin. And having modeled and stuff, like you shoot people differently, right? And there's ways to make certain whatever a person has going on with them, there's ways to shoot that or whatever differently to make that person look beautiful. And so, it's good to have these differences. It's good to acknowledge them and, like I said, accept them. In my case, I feel like you got to get to a point where you celebrate it. I love that about this country. That there's a whole bunch of different things. I told my daughter when she was going to New York, she's like, I'm a little nervous about people there. I'm like, here's the deal. When people talk about New Yorkers being rude, I said, it's bullshit. And she's like, well, there's so many people there. I said, well, here's the deal with the term so many people. In any situation, like 80% probably of those people are going to be nice. And the thing I love about New York is you have all those people together, and most of them are pretty chill. And you get to see people and eat food and see culture from like you said, 160 countries, and like you said, you've had sex with someone from every one. So, you get it.
I'm such an idiot.
What'd you say? How did you put it? You said I've had sex with every
nationality. Like a moron.
Yeah. Oh, man.
God.
That's so funny. Sandy's like, yeah, I've fucked people from French Seychelles before. You got it? I'm just thinking of all the weirdest, most obscure countries.
Like,
oh, yeah, Svalbard? Fuck. I suck a Svalbardian's dick. That's like a weird little island up by Iceland. I don't even know people live there. Anyways, but you know what I mean, though, right? It's like, so yeah. I think it's great. Look, I'm a single guy. When I go on my secret Reddit account to look at stuff to jerk off to, I don't stay within my one racial lane. You kidding me? Now, is it too bad that I don't have a real human relationship and probably never will again? Sure. However, I also get to sample many different kinds of beauty. That might sound gross, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and a lot of white people are just so fucking jealous.
Yeah. That's a great word, a great point. This whole movie's about that.
There's this underlying jealousy that they never want to fucking admit is that we get old, we just look awful. I mean, even just like our whole life, baby, child, teenager,
Yeah.
adult, we look like shit compared to people from different cultures. Hair is beautiful, their skin is like beautiful, their eyes are beautiful, their lips, their butt. Like the Brazilians, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're just so fucking jealous that like we have the shittiest fucking genes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And like that's what this movie is about, is like we don't like ourselves. We hate ourselves so much.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said, fetishize. Like we're
Yes.
jealous to the point
Yeah,
where it's
you
like a
could say
fetish,
that.
you know?
Yeah.
And what does the blind guy, one of the things he says to Chris, he's like, you're one of the lucky ones, you know, because he got to bang Rose or whatever, date Rose or whatever. He's like, Jeremy's tactic is not as nice. Cause
Nope.
that's when we kind of figure out, oh, yeah, so Jeremy's tactic is what we saw in the beginning. You just invite someone up into a neighborhood they don't know, then drive around in your car till you see them, and you put on your night helmet and you tase them. Which is why we don't see that Andre guy in a picture with Rose, is because Rose wasn't involved in his capture.
Nope. He was taken for another person.
But no, he was taken by their family. But Jeremy got him instead of Rose.
Well, but you know what I'm thinking is they didn't want Rose to sleep with whomever they were going to take for the lady.
Yeah, but the lady probably got him in an auction just like they were going to get Chris. So I don't think they thought that far ahead.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just, it's your turn, buddy. Or you know what? It's like you said, Rose's tactic takes so long that maybe she only gets one every other year or something, you know? It's like, hey, this year you got to go get your guy because I'm in the trenches here trying to get this Chris guy to fall in love with me. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, her guy's not ready yet. He's not ripe.
Right. And you know what they say? They say that Andre's been missing for 6 months, so they do it more often. It is not only once a year. Because when Rod at the very end realizes, he's like, I can't get a hold of Chris. Chris is missing. And he goes to the cops. They don't believe him. But one thing he says is that Andre's been missing for 6 months. So yeah, they do it at least twice a year, I guess.
That scene is funny. Poor Rod. He's like,
oh,
he's being so
good.
heartfelt and honest. And she's just like, well, this is hilarious. Let me go grab some other cops so they can repeat this fucking crazy ass shit. We don't believe them. Get a good laugh. Let's get a good laugh.
Yeah.
Fucking cops think everything's fucking funny.
Yeah. And Rod keeps being like, well, you know, I'm pretty much the same as you guys because I'm TSA.
Love that.
And that whole concept of this movie where they treat TSA like it's this cool thing and like they're really detectives and police force is so fucking funny.
It's so good.
Because nobody thinks that. They suck.
Getting it done. I love Rod.
We take care of shit.
We take
Consider
care of
this
shit.
situation. No, I'm sorry, we're both wrong.
Oh.
We handle shit.
Yeah.
Consider this situation handled.
I love Rod.
Yeah, and like no one really thinks that about TSA. No one that works for TSA really thinks that, but Rod does, and it's great. And while they're cutting back and forth from Chris, like trying to escape and stuff, they're cutting to Rod like investigating, and I fucking love that.
I love it.
Because he's got like a whole conspiracy board on his notebook kind of thing where he's trying to put all the pieces together because he knows something's up and he knows it's sex slaves. And he has it pretty much nailed.
Yeah.
When he tells the cop and she doesn't believe him, she brings in her buddies to laugh at him. He's like, yeah, they're taking black people out of town in the suburbs. They're hypnotizing them. They're selling them as sex slaves and like making them into slaves and shit and fucking them. And he's right. That is like pretty much what's happening. And then it's cut back to Chris, and when the blind guy is telling Chris what's going to happen, and the blind guy's like, okay, we're done here. Chris is because of his tension, because he still hasn't had a cigarette this whole time, so he's freaking out. His fingers are freaking out. He's scratching at the chair, and he notices he scratched the white stuff out, and he puts it in his ears. And one of the first things I ever read about this movie, I was like, oh, because what is the white stuff? What's the material? It's cotton. And what did slaves pick?
Cotton.
You know, so here he is using cotton to thwart his white oppressors.
Hell yeah.
You know, which is cool. So we don't know what he's done yet, but we knew he was picking at this cotton stuff out of the chair. In the shot where his hands are on the chair picking at the white, then you see his head lean down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because his hands are buckled to the arms of the chair.
Yep.
You see his head lean down like he's looking at it. And then it cuts to the video and it shows the cup thing again, and which is going to put Chris asleep. He goes, oh, no. And then he falls asleep. But I never figured out till this time why they show that shot of his head leaning down so close to his hands. You know?
Yeah.
And so then the brother comes in to take what he thinks is a passed out Chris. And this is where shit gets good. What happens?
Man, he was on a fucking rampage.
Bocce ball to the head with the brother.
Oh, I thought it was a lacrosse ball. Because doesn't his brother play lacrosse, or her brother?
Oh, you know what? Maybe you're right.
That's what I thought that was. And I was like, ow.
It looked like a bocce thing, but no, it was a lacrosse ball. We don't see any bocce. Bocce ball probably wouldn't be downstairs because it's an outdoor game. And the lacrosse idea is thematically sound because the brothers had this lacrosse thing the whole time. And lacrosse is, to me, a pretty fucking white sport.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
he busts
that
him in
makes
the
more
head.
sense.
I was like, hell yeah. Ow. That had to hurt.
Yeah, a lot.
Blood comes out of his head, and I'm like, yeah, here we go. I also want to mention just his dad while he's taking the skin off the top of the blind guy's head.
Yeah.
Just there's not one, but there's two shots of just it being thrown haphazardly into a bucket.
Yeah. Because they're getting rid of his body.
I was like,
He doesn't need it.
don't need
It's
that
garbage.
anymore. That's garbage.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yo, they don't show much, but like, and the brain surgery in this, it's like, oh. And I know that's close to how it's really like, but like, man, that's fucked up. It's like, you're cutting their scalp off, then you gotta drill through their skull?
But I also think it was like he's done this how many times? He doesn't just like take it off and like sit on the table. He just fucking chucks it.
Yeah.
Like a fucking like banana peel he's done eating. He's just like, ugh.
Exactly.
blah.
Like he's just cooking. Yeah, totally.
So bizarre. I like how he gets dad though.
Yeah. Well, and here's, now that you've helped me understand just how important the deer
About
head
the
thing
deer
is.
stuff.
Yeah. And so now he, like,
Impales. Is that the right word I want to say?
yeah.
Impales him?
No, that's a word. Yeah. So the dad's like, "Where are you, Jeremy?" Which, of course, the white guy's name is Jeremy. But yeah, so he steps outside and then he looks around and then suddenly Chris is right there with the fucking thing. And yes, impales him in the throat.
Ooh,
Which is
with
fucking crazy.
horns.
With the deer's antlers.
Oh, horns,
Yeah.
antlers, horns. It's not a rhinoceros.
There's a difference. And I forget why. No, there's a thing. I believe it's that horns are permanent, antlers come and go. And I think the horns are hollow, antlers are not. I forget, but anyways, yeah. And now, when they're doing the Coagula video, like I believe a deer head is part of the logo they show. So like they're obsessed with the whole deer head thing.
Well, it's interesting that in the beginning of the movie, there's a female deer, which was like his mom, and the female deer is like the mom of the deer, the deer family. And then the dad of this shitty fucking family, everyone's death was fitting for them. So like,
oh yeah, totally.
Jeremy got his stupid lacrosse ball to the head. Dad got impaled as the male what is a male deer called?
Buck.
Yeah, he got killed by a buck, which is like the head of the family. How does mom die again? Oh,
hold on, because I want to talk about the order thing too.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so he beats the brother good with the lacrosse ball, and he stabs the dad in the face with the deer antlers. Then he goes upstairs. Well, the brother's still alive.
Yeah.
And so then he like has I don't know what that little golden thing is, but he like the brother stabs it into Chris, and Chris is trying to get the door. The brother starts he puts the headlock on him. Earlier in the movie when they're at dinner, the brother wants to put a headlock on Chris to show him how it works. That didn't happen because they yell at him. They say, "Don't do that." But now he's doing the headlock on Chris. And Chris gets out of the headlock with I don't know what the little gold thing is, but he stabs Jeremy with it. Jeremy falls down and Chris kicks his head the fuck in. Oh. And then he fights the mom. And what's cool about this order is that I think in other horror movies, Jeremy and the dad would be the last kills. They would be like the bosses. Okay, but in this situation, Jeremy and the dad are kind of just they're kind of more the mechanisms of this situation, right? They're just carrying out certain tasks that need to be done. Whereas the mom and Rose are kind of more the brains of the outfit.
Yep.
The mom is the one hypnotizing, and Rose kind of like, even though Jeremy does it too, Rose is kind of seems to be the main procurer of these people, Yep. So I like that they're the last two instead of the men.
Yeah, I'm glad Rose died last.
Yeah. Okay, so, the maid is the grandma, is what we figured out, because Rose's like, oh no, grandma. He hits her with the car and he stops. He's like, just go. But then he starts thinking about how he didn't help his mom and just watch TV. So he's like, I have to help her.
Yep.
So he goes and gets the maid and puts her in the car. And he takes off with her, and Rose comes out of the house with a gun and says, oh no, grandma. And so that's when you get for sure know that it's grandma.
Ugh.
But then she is still fucking brainwashed, and they do this great thing where you see her hair pulled back and she's got the lobotomy scar.
Yeah.
She's like, you ruined everything.
Man,
And
that's crazy.
She just grabs from him. He's like, what the fuck? Crashes the car. Yeah, and she dies. Yeah, and then he gets out and runs away. Well, now Rose is there with a gun, and the gardener guy's with her. She's like, get him, Grandpa. So now we know for sure the grandpa's in that one, which is why he was running, because the guy's still obsessed with the fucking fact that Jesse Owens beat him to get into the Olympics 80 years before this, and he's just obsessed with that. And the whole, and this all, my theory-ish, I guess, is this whole coagulant bullshit. The whole process comes because the grandpa was so pissed off that Jesse Owens beat him, and that's why the dad says he almost got over it. But not quite. He maybe had a bit of an overreaction instead. And created a fucking program for imprisoning black men's minds.
Well, what was Hitler fucking doing during World War II? It was experimenting on disabled people, black people too, gay people.
That's the grandpa's deal. So then he's trying to choke Chris out. He's going to kill him. And Chris luckily grabs his phone and flashes the guy because he remembers that makes him snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a pretty crazy moment. The guy grabs the gun from Rose and let me do it. And then he turns around and shoots her in the stomach. And then he kills himself. Because, even though Chris has at least momentarily freed him, it's like, well, yeah, why would you want to continue doing that?
And how long has he had Grandpa in his body?
Yeah, who knows?
Jeez.
Yeah, totally. It's been at least a couple years probably. So, yeah. But then, so he's dead. And Rose is struggling on the ground. And Chris is like, okay, I'm going to fucking kill you. And Rose dies out in the road like a dead deer. Like you hit with your car.
Yeah, and man, when he's choking her and she gives that fucking smile of hers.
Yeah.
That is some evil ass shit.
Yeah, she's so evil.
Fuck.
When she smiles, I don't know if she's smiling because the cop car is there. Cause I don't know if that's been established yet.
Yeah,
but she's smiling at least because she's evil, if not because of that. But then we see the lights and hear the sirens. Now we know there's a cop car there. And I mean, at this point, Jordan Peele's really turned it around on us and really made it feel like, again, now this is going back to a real fear. The cop car pulls up and everybody who's watching this goes, oh shit. Because now we know what cops do to black people. Especially in this situation, which Rose immediately takes advantage of and goes like, help me.
Yep. The white lady tears.
Yeah. Now, do you know of the other scene, the other ending? I don't know if they ever filmed it or not, but you know what the original ending was?
There's a different ending than this one?
Yeah.
What?
They went with this ending. I don't know if they shot the first one, but in the original ending, she goes, help me, and the camera pans over, and it is the cops, and they arrest Chris, and he goes to prison. Yeah. But instead, what happens? I mean, I love this reveal. Do you remember the exact thing that reveals what's really going on with the car?
Mm-mm. The
door opens, and it says airport on it.
Oh, yeah.
So then we're like, oh, shit!
Just I was like, yay, Rod, to the fucking rescue, because the fucking cops don't fucking believe him, so you gotta go get he knows where his friend is, he just has to figure out where Rose's parents live.
Yeah, he figures it out.
Yeah. That is gonna be your best friend for life.
Yeah. So Chris realizes, oh, thank God it's not the cops, it's Rod. And they just leave Rose dying in the street, which is great. That's what she deserves, just like a deer that gets hit by a car, Which is funny because her dad hates deer, and now she dies the same way. I don't know. There's probably more you could... this movie, there's just so much you can talk about. That's why it's taken so long for us to talk about it, I guess. But the last couple of interactions here are so good, because, the first thing Rod does, he's like he just looks winces, I I told you.
I told you not to go in the house.
Yeah, he said, I told you not to come up here. Like, yep. And he was totally right. And then Chris is like, how'd you find me? And that's when Rod just looks at him and goes, TS motherfucking A. We handle shit. It's so good.
So good.
And I don't know. It's one of the most memorable parts of the movie too. And like that guy, that comedian, Lil Rel Howery, is so fucking good in this movie. And I think they probably changed the ending to be positive, and Rod rescues him because, well, I mean, in this Q&A I watched with Jordan Peele, he kind of says like they originally were going to put this out while he started kind of coming up with this idea while Obama was president. Well, then by the time the movie's getting made and coming out, now fucking Trump's president. It's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
And we needed. He's like, it kind of needed some like way to bring people together. So I think that's maybe why he went with a more positive ending. Because the idea, he said, was that the whole thing is like, when Obama got elected, people were like, oh, racism's over. That's how a lot of fucking white people acted, And so his idea was like, let's show that's not true and show how it's, even with the people who seem to be our allies and what they're really doing. Because that's kind of what the movie is. But so I think at that point, it was like, well, we don't need to have, I think we got our point across, is I think how maybe they felt. So like, let's have a happy ending, is I think kind of why they did that. But it's way better than if they ended it with Chris getting in trouble, because Chris deserves to be rescued.
Yeah, well, I mean, what the fuck? His whole world was turned upside fucking down.
Yeah.
Like, he met a girl that he loved, meeting her parents. He met a gallery owner of a gallery that he knows, and and just finds that everything is shit. Everything is shit except for your friend. Your friend is the best thing ever, and he's got your back.
Yeah.
And he worried about you in the way that you're supposed to worry about human beings.
Yeah, but the prison ending would unfortunately be more realistic, so I think that's why they came up with it first. Even though, yes, his life's already been crazy turned upside down. It's like, well, but this is probably what would really happen. This guy would fucking get, they would think he's actually killing this woman or whatever, and, it's a black guy thrown in prison, But yeah, so I think that's why they went with I think it's a better ending, and it's nice to see, It's a very good movie,
Yes.
And even though we're two white people that said a lot of stuff about it, I would love to hear black people talk about it. So maybe there's probably podcasts out there of that too. So
I loved it.
the point of though is, so you loved it, so you didn't think you liked it. With Black Phone, I was like, well, I didn't really like it. Okay, now I like it more. With you though, with this, you're almost mad at Past Shandy because you don't you text me why the fuck did I not like this?
Oh.
It's almost two different people watched it.
Why is that my recollection of it? And it makes me mad because I'm watching it and but I'm also not the same person I was 8 years ago.
Yeah, fuck Past Shandy.
Yeah, I mean,
what were you doing 8 years ago? Were you much different? Do you think you were different?
I lived in a different place, dating my last boyfriend, so I was smoking.
Oh.
I think, you know what? I think we had just broken up maybe when I had watched this.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to help.
And so maybe seeing...
Especially since a lot of the movie is about people...
Yeah, seeing her be that way to him and it just being a total farce maybe pissed me off.
Yeah. I can see that. That makes sense. Context. It's too bad Past Shandy didn't have a podcast. So then we could hear why that bitch wrong.
I really was watching it, was just why? It doesn't make any sense to me. But now that we've been talking about it, I'm like, okay, that might be why.
Yeah, that might be why. That makes sense. But it is funny because mine wasn't an intense reaction before. I didn't hate it. Oh my God, I fucking don't like whatever. I just whatever. And then I kind of watched it again. I was like, okay, I like it. But yours is such more of a violent swing from one end to the other.
I know.
That it's funny, It's holy shit, lady, But but you know what? That's the magic of cinema, and also why it is good to, like you said, sometimes if you didn't like something and aren't sure why, maybe watch it again, because that is part of the beautiful thing of movies is every time there's movies that every time I watch it, it's different to me.
Mm-hmm. It also depends on your mindset.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you watch movies, you think about them just for entertainment purposes. But if you're not really feeling your life at the moment, sometimes even a movie that should be entertaining to you isn't going to do anything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different ways. Because, yes, you could be at a low point versus a high point. I think age is a thing. Like, I rewatched Nightmare on Elm Street the other day. And this is the first time, because I'm like 44 now, you know, you start feeling older. And I'm like, oh, wow, the scariest part of this movie this time is that girl hasn't slept for a week. God, it would suck so much to not sleep for that long. And that's different than when I was like 25 and saw it for the first time, you know? It's like, oh my God, can you imagine not sleeping? Fuck.
Freak me. Yeah, that is terrifying. That's terrifying.
But yeah, so your point is you like this, you love this movie now, even. And so you've seen Us and Nope, and you weren't crazy about Us or Us nor Nope, neither, whatever, right?
I really liked Us. I had to watch Nope again.
Okay. You did like Us. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad we didn't accidentally watch that, since that's the movie we were operating under for like a month, thinking we were going to watch Us, and then you didn't like it. And like a week before this, you're like, oh, I meant Get Out. I'm like, oh, well, shit. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Well, I'm glad it worked out. So thank you for listening to this. And Shandy, thank you for liking this movie now.
Yay.
Yay.
Also, think about why you don't like things, not just go, I don't like things.
Right. You also shouldn't just like things for no reason, too.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
Give it another shot.
Think about it. Stupid.
Use your brain before it gets put into somebody else's fucking, get thrown in the garbage and somebody else's brain gets put inside your fucking body.
Yeah, dude. Can you say the social media stuff that you always say?
Uh-huh. Please follow us on social media. We are on Instagram at Earnful of Popcorn. That you are NFULLA Popcorn. And please follow and rate us on Spotify. Follow us on our YouTube channel. We also have a website, earnfulofpopcorn.com. You can listen to the episodes there if you want. You can also message us and whatever you want. We might respond. Actually, I respond. So if you the message, I'll respond.
Yeah, Shandy responds. I always forget to look. Hey, should we throw out your phone number too? Yeah, you guys want to text Shandy to her personal number? It is
646. No.
Don't do it. No, you don't want to do that. What would be funny is if you did it and I didn't cut it out for some reason. Be like, this'll teach her. Anyways, thank you to Jordan Cooper for the theme music. Thank you to Steve. I am from Canada Ward. It's weird that he makes that his nickname, by the way. But anyways, for designing the logo and stuff. And I already said thank you to you, so I'm not going to say it again.
Thanks, Tammy.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. Okay, I guess we're done, right? We should be done.
Yeah,
Holy
wow. Shit. Holy fucking mo.
See? I told you it would cut out.